Hey guys, welcome to the close. Couple hours left in a pretty exciting day. Back to the upside we go after a pretty choppy morning, let's be honest. We did end up bouncing off significant levels from not only last week, but yesterday as well. Here's a look at how things stand right now. S&P 500 down about 0.08, trying to get positive on the day. In fact, the Dow is still a full percent to the downside. It is the Dow that's definitely lagging here, but yeah, strength in tech stocks this afternoon. Good to see. 0.31 for the NASDAQ right now. Full percent for the TSX here in Toronto. A little bit of strength coming back into crypto markets. Also, hope your afternoon is going well. Let's have a look at the big board and show you a little bit more green on this board. Good to see, especially in the tech sector here. It is software names leading the way, helping to offset this move in Cisco. Wow, what a move in Cisco. 14%, basically back to session lows right now for CSCO. We'll have a look at that coming up. HPE, Juniper, FFIV, HPQ, to name a few, also red. But look at semiconductors helping to offset things to the upside. Outside of, Broadcom under pressure today, 3.5% to the downside. There was a negative note on Under Armour, a couple of executive changes. So negative move as a result, 10 and 12% for Under Armour, the A-class and regular shares, both in negative territory. Travel names back to the upside. Healthcare names back to the upside. Banks are weak, worth noting, outside of a few in the diversified financial sector. But otherwise, all is well. We'll take it after what we saw yesterday. Pretty choppy session so far, but that controlled kind of march to the downside, not the case as we did see yesterday on significant volume. So maybe we base out for an afternoon. Maybe we start to move higher into the close here. We will see. Lots to discuss. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time. We do this every single day, guys. The market is open. We're on all day long. Join us, won't you? Let's discuss a few things we were talking about in the pre-market this morning. There were so many opportunities at the open this morning. We'll go back over a few now. How'd you do? Where can we improve for tomorrow? Remember, it's only Thursday. We still get another day this week. Here comes Neil. He's going to kick things off with a look at one of his trades.
Absolutely. We're going to look at Coinbase today. There were some big opportunities off the open. Obviously, Cisco was a huge winning trade to the short side, and there were some other great ones in there. Tesla was pretty active. Nuro was pretty good. But the thing about Coin was, because of where we were at 9:30, we didn't get that first move off the level we liked. And this is the thing, when you are quote-unquote diddling in the middle, you better have a pretty good setup. And if you can see what's happened on the 15, I'm just making sure that you get an idea of what I mean by diddling in the middle here. Like Coinbase, since making that massive drop from over $100 to the wipeout bottom at 40, has been relatively stable, right? Like you haven't had a heck of a lot of movement, and you've got this hard bottom at $60, $62 if you want to have a look at sort of yesterday's close, and then you've got this interesting top right around $70, $71, because one time we did get above there, and pretty much in the middle you've got this 65 area, like a psychological level. When you come in this morning, it does give you the notion of a pop and fade style trade, but it's not at any of those key levels. We end up exactly at the midpoint between that 65 and 70 at 67.5. Now, at the point where I'd normally be taking a pop and fade at 9:30, well, guess what? We're shorting Cisco at that time. We're shorting Nuro at that time. We're trading Tesla at that time. And the key thing about not catching a move like this is you cannot chase it. Every single rule has to stay in place. When it comes back, and we were sitting at about 65, 65.5 here, right around this point, and when I pulled up Coinbase and said, okay, we got a double top here, I want to play off of this level, but you've got to be patient. Like just because it had a nice failure, you don't want to jump in at this 66. That is a fake out candle. This is a complete fake out. Sure, you might get that nice little winner, but you're going to be thinking home run, lower low. You're going to be thinking 64s, and all it's going to do is fake you out and come right back to the high. I always have my one rule in place, which is if I short in front of that top, I'm willing to get out at that top. And we take the quick little in at 67, and then we're out almost instantly at 65. What happens after that? Well, it's a fail breakout. It can't hold a bit above that price. In that particular situation, when the spread opens up, you get to 67 breaking. You have the spread open up as people are stopping out above that price. They're filling 20s and 30s as it goes higher. But the bid, it's not chasing it. That means there's not incremental buyers above 67. And the second you see that offer come back below, it's get into the short. And at this particular point, this is a structured trade for me. It is now in the midst of an upward trend. Short's a failed break, but almost always, this is a short to first level back in. Knowing that it is a condensed trade, I'm going to take more size than if I think I'm going to get all the way down to 63. You get right in off of that high, and then we're immediately scalping it out. First level, 167 breaks, then 66.5, and then all out at 66. There's no getting cute about it. That is the trade. There's no chasing the previous trade here thinking it's going to 64. No, you've got yourself a different move at that particular situation. You've got to stick to the setup as it is, not as you want it to be. Now, obviously, you're going to see after that, it does break out at that point. Nice little scalp break, turns into a dip buy. I saw the trend. I mentioned this. I'm like, oh, yeah, look at this trend. I'm going to buy the dip off of VWAP and then just scalp it a little bit as well. But the primary thing about this is you are going to have to limit the bandwidth that you have mentally at 9:30, which might mean on a trade that you liked or a stock that you liked, you will not get the open move as big as you want it. And sometimes that means you have to take the next trade there. You can still make the same. Maybe you have to have a little bit tighter risk, not hold it for $3. It might only give you $1, $1.50, but you put a couple more shares on in that situation, and it works out to about the same thing. But you can't chase previous moves. It's just going to get you in trouble. The market is going to want to do what it wants to do, not what you want it to do.
Great look at, a pretty impressive move there. Coinbase up 7% on the day. A nice look for a lot of those names that have been beaten down over the past couple of months. PayPal as well, having a great day. A lot of them on the watch list this morning, guys. Make sure you grab the watch list every single day. We get you ready for the open at 9:30. Join us then at 8:30. Make sure you're joining us at 8:30. We get you prepared and ready to go every single day. As we said, the market trying here to get back in the right direction. 0.3 for the S&P right now. 2% for crude oil. It's been a very strange kind of session for crude futures. Very, very low volume right now, right across the board as far as and liquidity as well for futures contracts. Let's chart of the day. How about that? This one goes to the automakers today, and this will lead us into the first thing we're going to discuss here. So green line is Lucid, Ford is purple, Tesla is orange, blue is the NASDAQ. So that just gives you a little take on how things are going today for not only Lucid, but Ford having a pretty good day as well, back to the upside. So just a comparison there. But let's talk about Lucid because more news. They took the, I guess, curtain away on their manufacturing facility over in Saudi Arabia. Brand new facility, new deal as well, new financing deal over the next 15 years. So tons of capacity on the manufacturing side coming for Lucid, guys. Hey,
what the, huh? Depends on, hey, Neymar jersey. I didn't even notice you had the Neymar on.
Yeah, yesterday you had Salah on and everything. Sharif not playing around back there. Yeah, guys, welcome to the closing show. Oh, Dallas Cowboys. Greg,
they're trolling.
Cut the buying power, ASAP.
Keep going. No, I can do it. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, do it right now. If your favorite team is Dallas, then you do have some questionable judgment. No, but it's a questionable judgment. So,
I think I could actually shut him down.
Do we want Dallas Cowboy fans trading actual capital? Is the question there? We're just playing around.
Management.
Look, Neil's in there.
Oh, right I can restrict.
Yeah.
No,
shut him down for the day.
We're just messing.
No, we're just messing around. I love the NFL. Hey, man, that's what makes it the best. Is that there's so many people passionate about their teams. And look, my father's favorite team, also the Dallas Cowboys. Like if you're of our age. Yeah, because Roger Staubach and all these guys, like Dallas was the thing, America's team, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, Dallas is still the number one, like most popular team in the NFL. It is. Okay, so let's move on to Lucid now. What's up to rolling records there, man? You said, and I said in the beginning of the day that we would all regret not having more Lucid shares. And yeah, that's exactly what's happened here. Look, and again, you know, we are making predictions back and forth there. That is sort of the whole point of the sticky note. We talked, was this right? Yeah, there it is right there. So we wanted Lucid back down to 17. We talked about taking it there. Obviously didn't go down to 17. So the best trade that we had was 17.50 right there in the pre-market, gave us a dip buy to get some more. And then it just took off, right, to the upside. I got out when it was sort of went up to 19.20 there and then broke 19 back to the downside. Obviously, that seems to be a mistake, as if I just waited for the 50 period here, we probably would have been able to get out around 1950 instead. So give up a little bit on the last little bit here. But hey, look, I wasn't sure it was going to break 18. So when, you know, this whole move up is a great move. I was sort of looking at this 1850 top right there. So we're able to hold about 20% or so for that last little tick. But we didn't maximize our trade here on Lucid. But yeah, just as we said, man, Saudis, they're coming in for production. They talked about buying 150,000 cars alone from them, and they're looking to be on track. They upped it from 2013 to, I think it was next year, or 2025, that they'll be at that 500,000 production. So look, you know, that's the big problem with a lot of these EV makers right now, is the fact that they're not able to produce cars. We heard that from Rivian. They're looking at 25,000 this year. Still not bad. It's just, it's not 500,000. So when we got that little news there from Lucid, that's really great to hear. And again, are they off the bottom? Yes. Was the bottom only $13 and now you're at 19 in a week? So you're up 50% in a week, sure. But a lot of us are invested on the way down. So this is, I'm not in Lucid, but this is a nice day here for Lucid shareholders. You're almost, to me, and I almost said like you're almost in the clear, but you've almost cleared a lot of this garbage over the last couple of weeks. So that to me is kind of, and I stepped in and bought Apple today. I mentioned that on Prad's show in my long-term account. But Lucid right here, you know, you get above that $20 mark, and I like it, and we're not too far away. It's kind of like SoFi getting above 8. I talked to that with Fahad today about that. So there's a few things happening. A lot of these beat-down names are finally starting to catch a little bit of a bottom. We don't have earnings to worry about anymore. So for me, I think it's, and again, it's not all clear on a lot of names. I'm not sure the NASDAQ has even made a bottom yet. But at the same time, I think Lucid, Fisker, Rivian, some of these names, if you wanted to start sort of layering in, do your research on what names are the best, you might get yourself a winner by the year's end.
Yeah, and look, the thing is, it's interesting because I had this conversation about EVs with my barber the last time I was in, which you can tell wasn't exactly last night. And that's sort of what I told him, because he wanted to be in one of them. And I kind of said I wouldn't be in Rivian right now. I said if you got to pick and choose, it should be Tesla. But then it was Lucid had a little bit more going for it and some of the less negative headwinds. That being said, I mean, you're going to see, I'm actually long Tesla right now and short Lucid. And I had 3 levels I liked on Lucid, and they're pretty obvious. And if you're ever going to go counter trend and know where your outs are going to be, it's so easy to get wrapped up and get stopped out on these things if you're going to get stubborn about it. So we had this high, which was 1850. I got in. It was working, and then I got quickly out and walked away from that trade. And then we got to the next level up, which was 19 even, exactly the same thing. It worked in the money. This one I got a little bit greedier about, I suppose. Like, it's pretty reasonable to say I should have taken some profit on it, but I was looking for a bigger pullback. And then it stopped out again when it took the high. And then I was simply waiting for $20 and sat around there. It got to 20, and now I'm sitting short off of 20. Although I had to grab some 75s in and never got the full position on. Sometimes that's how it goes, but you've got to stick to your rules, which includes everybody. I said that this might be the first day that I would trade UVXY for real. So you'll see I'm actually now trading that one here today. We had one good short. We'll see how the next one does go. But yeah, Tesla has relative weakness, despite the fact, and we'll get to that individually in just a bit, but you know, despite the fact that there were some good longs on it, comparatively speaking, there's a stronger name today, obviously.
Yeah, I was just having a look at Tesla once again, guys. There was a volume alert there, but I didn't actually see anything move. But heads up, big volume alert there for Tesla. Anyways, Cisco was top of the list this morning as well. We'll move on. Cisco to the downside, as we said, still to the downside, 14% as we saw when we came back on after not only a bad report, but forecast even worse.
Well, it's a forecast that matters. The report sucked. It did. But like it's what you blame it on, right? Like, and I think, and there will be some concerns about this tonight with AMAT. I think obviously that's another thing we should get out of the way. But there wasn't much to look at for Cisco because the gap down was so tremendous. But anytime a stock does this, and it's not to say the company's broken, but the chart gets broken when you gap down levels like this. And then all of a sudden it's like you're making this gap and then you're immediately testing what was, we're talking 2021, late 2020 support. Like that's where we're gapping down into on Cisco with that guide. But there was nothing else to look at other than that 44 support. So I feel like we're all trying to make the exact same trade off for the open, and it gave it to you 2 times. And I talked about like the reason why I was not in that Coinbase trade at the open for the bigger move was because that is exactly when you were getting the opportunity to get Cisco again at 44. So which one were you going to choose? You're going to get into Cisco again, or are you going to take the Coinbase trade? Coinbase was good, but Cisco was better. And that's what at 9:30, there is simply if you're a robot, if you have an algo, there's simply no way that you're going to make this trade successfully on like 3 or 4 names at once. It can't be done. That's just the thing. Like you're going to have to pick and choose because there's so much whipsaw action. You can be looking at the tape of 1 or 2 things and have the levels right on 1 or 2 of them. And trying to do it on the bunch, it's just not happening. When the memes are going, I pick one and it's usually GameStop. When this happens at 9:30, I would have loved Coinbase too, but this was just a better entry at 9:30 to get the 44s. And thankfully we were able to get it.
Yeah, that's and I think that's wise words, and that's what I'm doing right now too, and limiting the names I'm looking at. I only traded 5 names today, and one of them was Cisco, and Cisco was actually again, the #1 name here. We have Danielle Shay coming on soon, by the way, as well, so that should be good. We'll talk to her about some of these earnings as well. But right here, Cisco, $44. I mean, to me, it was pretty easy. It was right there. Cut guidance, missed revenue. We talk about this right there. This happens every day on the sticky note where I give you some key levels, and look at that, 44 once, twice, 3 times, 4 times sold, bang, to the downside. We're still in this. So we've got this 42.50. It's now touching some of these bottoms, 41 and change. I think now, because I'm long AMD, I just took a nice piece out there of AMD as well, short Apple, short Cisco, just wondering about this $41. Maybe that's a good spot to get out here. It's 10% already in the money. We're short, if I can get that, we're short 44, so it's about 7% now in the money. I don't look at it like that, but that's a big move off the open, off already getting cleaned today on the daily chart from 50 down to 40. So this might be a decent spot here to think about getting some out. Definitely this 41.80 right here. We saw yesterday what happened when the NASDAQ sort of kept going down and Target reversed course on us. So not on me, but just on the market. Target started going up. So maybe Cisco does get a little bit of a relief rally after being down 14%. So let's see if we break up, 41.80. It's just, and again, this is what I do. I look for levels. Might be wrong, might not be wrong. I got it Lucid too early. We talked about that. But right there, 41.80. I think that top, we've ticked up there a little bit. If we could take that down, then we'll get out of Cisco. So right now, it's a good one for me. And all the other positions we'll talk about in a second when we get there. But I like Cisco right now to the short side. It's not a reload for me. I'm just going to get it out if we take down 41.80.
Just one thing quickly, guys, on the EV space. I noticed a couple of the other ones up as well. Nikola here, 5.25% back to day highs, along with Lucid. There was another S3 report out today, just highlighting the fact that some of the short interests in all of these names down across the road, or across the board. Lucid, Rivian, XPeng, Ford is here, GM, Ride, Fisker, all noted here. The report itself individually breaks down the short interest, but across the board, apparently, short interest down in the EV space. Let's go on to big tech, as Sean was mentioning there. A decent bounce, or attempting anyways, a bounce here, guys, after a weak start to the day.
Yeah. I mean, Neil or I both traded some good tech names here today. Okay, so AMD's coming back down in right now. AMD, to me, is one that, we continue. It's my #1 stock today by far. It's actually like 70% of my net or so here is AMD. And why? It's because we're able to hold, man. We're able to hold this for the majority, not the majority, but a decent spot, like 50% plus on our first long down here to 95. We hit the long all the way down and then all the way back up as well. So we average into the way down, we average in on the way up, respecting some of those pre-market bottoms, 94.50. So great trade. And then it went all the way up to 99, where we wound up getting it out at 99.60, the last part. And this is what we've been doing since, rinsing and repeating these longs. So I'm in this right now, into the long side against the market. So This is, if this breaks 98, we're out. There's the 98 bottom. It's just respected that. So not trying to make things too complicated. Oops, I zoomed in the wrong way. Not trying to make things too complicated. There's 98 bottom. We're averaging in against it. If it breaks, we're gone. Look at some of these. That's 98.20. That's 98.20 again. These outs, 98.60, 98.70. And then this is almost a different trade because we had more shares on that 98.50 break, which went all the way up to 99. So that's why you see a little bit of an average price here for me, 98.37. Yeah, look, I like AMD. I like the long. Right now, the reason why we're a little iffy about it is the NASDAQ's come back in here. We talked about 12,000 earlier this morning. That's been hit and didn't hold. So that's a problem for me. But we're going to watch it. It's funny that I'm long AMD and like really like this position. Now it's in the money 10 cents while I'm still short Apple. I mean, and again, I talked about this on Prad's show. It's like we're short right here. And just to show you that we do have losers on at some point here, like that's a 139 break, out, right? 138.14. Then look, we went back into the short trying to defend 140 right here. So we started the short at 139.50, averaged it in, then it broke and we got out at 140, right? But then we held a little bit of it, took some more back out there for 70-cent win. When it came back up, we averaged in here to 139.90. We were giving it to that level right there, 140.50. So that was about 40, 50, 60 cents worth of damage. For some reason, I don't think that was the wick there. I think it was like 140.40. So we're giving about 50 cents. Then when it came back down, look at some of these cashes. That's 140, right? We start getting it out at 139.50 all the way down, and we're still in this piece, right? So here it goes. Wow, okay. Here goes AMD to the long side, Apple to the downside, and we already talked about Cisco. So just kind of like Neil, the tale of two stocks, and you're going to talk about another one here today.
You're still in Apple. I'm not still in Microsoft, which kind of sucks. It definitely sucks because
I got stopped out.
I liked one level on Microsoft. Well, that's not true. I like 250 as well, but we never got 250 this morning. And if we got that dip by,
oh shit,
I think that was the other thing. That was the other thing that I think everybody was sort of looking for today. There was so many bids that could have come in for support. 250 was one of them on Softy. It bounced up, and then I just like 258. It did make that move to 58. I only played it back to 55. Unfortunately. And then the one I'm in right now is, but the long I'm in right now, I should say, is Tesla. However, as much as I liked that, like we broke this channel, I just sat in front of 710 the second we broke that channel because of what was going on in UVXY. But, and this is what I mean by what's happening with volatility, I finally did trade it. I finally decided I wanted to trade this here today. So when we broke down in UVXY, instead of needing to be in a lot of the long trades that were out there, you're able to just sort of short it off this 1750, and then it comes all the way down, makes the next channel at 1675. When it broke this to the downside, I got into it, but then it's like I'm short UVXY, long Tesla, and the futures can't break 12,000 on the NASDAQ. So, okay, well, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Scalp some of the Tesla out to relieve that pressure, because if I want to hold the short on volatility, while also in the Tesla long, well, then I should make sure I'm scalping that level on Tesla. And then that way, if we start maybe holding these support levels while we're in the channel, I can play inside of the range instead of essentially being double down on big tech rallying into the close.
All right, let's continue along. Just noticed Twitter back to session highs here. So Elon and Twitter continue to renegotiate this deal with headlines instead of actual communication here, back to 2.75%. A little more volume ticking in here as well for Twitter. Just be aware after this big move that came on this headline. There was a bunch of headlines that Bloomberg reported. One of those was essentially they had an all-hands meeting at lunchtime today and said, and I quote, "There's no such thing," right here, "as the deal being on hold," as Elon said, and they're planning to proceed with the $44 billion offer that they had received, guys. So, as I said, the negotiations continue.
Well, there's two sides to any deal, right? Like you need two willing parties. Last I checked, and either the breakup works in both directions. Either one of the two can break up. So of course they're going to say that when everybody is telling you, or not everybody, when a lot of people have been saying if the deal falls apart, the stock's under $30. What do you think Twitter management's going to say as far as they are concerned? There is a tender offer for $54.20. Yes, Elon has said, barring such and such investigation for myself, then I don't necessarily, it's on hold, but there is still the tender. Like, let's be real. Like, there is an agreement in place. that doesn't stop Elon from at any point being like, you know what, there's more bots than I thought. I think it's worth $45, $42.69, and that's my new offer. What are you going to do? I'm willing to take the breakup fee. Take it or leave it. He could still do that, obviously. So like those comments, yeah, they got the little spike on Twitter, I should say. But ultimately, I don't think it means that much. I feel like people are waiting for Elon to make the next move. Like, what is he going to do here? Because there's a lot of speculation that he is going to offer a lower price, and it will make a lot of sense for him to do so. Look what has happened to the market since he announced the deal. Like, it's been falling to the downside. That changes what Twitter's valuation would reasonably be, and he has some leverage. $1 billion is nothing to him. Tesla gains and loses that in minutes in the market at any time. So, there's a lot to be said about this. I don't know that it's high enough that I would sit there as a day trader and say, yeah, I should be shorting this because that's not big enough news. But, I mean, if it gets close to 40 and still nothing has happened, and people are presuming it could be in the mid-40s where the new offer might be, if that's what he does, then I could see Twitter sort of falling in here again. But, I don't see too much of a trade here. I think Tesla's going to be a little bit more exciting. I could be proven wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching too much of that trade, so I'll like sort of back away from it. I mean, it's going to get done one way or the other, and I think if you're trading Twitter, you better have Twitter open so you can find out some of the news and stuff like that that starts running through on that. So for me, it's going to be a little stay away from Twitter for now until something happens. And I mean, Tesla's getting beat down a little bit because of this, and I don't know. Let's just let the dust settle on that Twitter deal. I don't really have a huge opinion. I'm not like a heavy shareholder in that. I do own some shares, but for me, Twitter is just kind of like a wait and see on what winds up happening.
The confusing part to me, anyways, with this is, like he said initially, one of the reasons he wanted to buy it was to clean up the bots or get rid of all of the bots. Now he's saying, hold on, wait a second, there's too many bots? So I don't understand. Tesla, on the other hand, a bit of a ho-hum kind of day for Tesla, although we are trying to hold this 700 again this afternoon.
It tried to go, and I had some scalp trades on Tesla this morning. The first was off 700, and it was a bit tricky. I think if you watched the morning show, you probably heard me sort of complain about, like, there was a wick down through 700 when I was long in front of it, when I was staring at size in front of the bid that I didn't see go, but I guess it did stop me out. I just jumped back in the trade, was able to get some profit out on it, and then did the same reload at 700. It quickly reversed. The breakdown, when you talk about a failed break, the breakdown at 700 went right to the 95 and then said no more, and that was me, like double out in front of it, took it 80%, and then right back up, putting in the lower high, and I took the lower high, scalped that short. At that point, I said, okay, let's calm down. Let's wait for it to actually get to this 715, right? Because if you remember, when we were long at 700 yesterday, that's essentially where it got to, and I was kind of hiding that from you guys on purpose. This is where it got to, that 715, and then that was the level we played. Played it for a little scalp short once, and then once it broke, we were into the long side of the trade. The excuse, and it's not an excuse, but it's what happened, the reason I got 720s long here instead of still being in the 715 is because there was an inopportune issue with the power at our station right when I got back into 715, and I had misplaced a stop order. As I was about to change, it was when the power went, and I got stopped out, essentially break even when I didn't mean to. But that's when it happens to you, you jump back in the trade. Unfortunately for me, jumping back in the trade meant jumping into it at 720 instead of 715. And then you saw it move to 730 up there. I got out on the way and then haven't touched it since it retraced back to this now 710 area that we're seeing currently. And like I said, I don't know that we're going to get another leg up unless we break 12,000, unless volatility breaks down once again, which it already did once today. Otherwise, we're probably going to be stuck in a range. All that said, at this particular point, it's held 700 support. That's why I like to dip buy. But you're seeing some weakness relative to some other names in Tesla, just barely up on the session. And it really looked like it was going to go today. When we got that 720, I'm like, oh, yeah, why am I even taking anything out at that 725, 728? It really felt like maybe it had a chance to get to 740, 750. It just feels like the sellers are still here in Tesla and they haven't been exhausted yet.
All right, I just tweeted it out. We are scalping like a madman right now on AMD. Look at this chart. Look at these bids. all 98.20s, and most of them, trying to get them all out near 50. It's eventually going to break, but we'll celebrate it, man. This is going to be a good little run for me here. Just undercover now that we've been online here talking with you guys. Just buying the. Now, it's going to break. So here comes. It's going to break. We already have. I'm not going to take this one more time. 3 times the charm. If it breaks now, I'm out of 60% of that. We really switched it up over to Scalp Central. You can use. Remember, if you're going to scalp, you can use more shares. So here comes. It's going to get out now. So that's fine. If it breaks through 9, actually I should make sure that I have this order out there. Yeah, a little lower than 98. We'll get out. And there it is, man. See, like now I'm going to lose 20, 30 pennies on this trade when we've just scalped it out how many times? So that's, how I trade when we're talking about this. And then look at Apple. You're going to say, what happened to my price? I was short up here. Yeah, we got out, remember? And then we got back in right now. So I just put a new short on. So we'll hit that right here, that siren alert. We're now short Apple 137.6 right here, 137.60. And it's just against this. And again, it was a little bit of a hedge because we were scalping back and forth with AMD. So we thought that, hey, if Apple ever broke higher, hopefully AMD also breaks higher. And it's very nice. So that's what's going to happen right now. Again, we actually have more shares on AMD than we do on Apple, but I'm playing it very, very tight, man. 138 breaks on Apple. We'll take that 40-cent hit and get out of there. So we're watching out for that right now. Apple trying to get back in here. We'll probably take one more piece. I mean, we can afford to do it, so maybe we'll do that right now. We'll take another piece of Apple. Yeah, why not? If we can get a 79, 80 fail, something like that, we'll take that right there at 80. We'll take another short, and then again, it's all coming out. And I was explaining to my man over here, now that, see, the thing about Sharif over here, and I don't even really know the guy, is that, I was helping him out, no problem, right, Sharif? I was helping you out with your keys. Where was the Dallas hat when I was helping him out? That's undercover. That only comes out.
He totally did that.
You see what I'm saying?
The closing show. Yeah. There's no question.
So shout out to Sharif there. He got me on that one. If I saw the Dallas hat there on the desk, it may have changed my my opinion on the help there, which, of course, is just a joke. But
just a quick heads up there. Yeah. Look what just happened to Nuro.
Okay, so Apple just broke.
So look what just happened to Nuro. Nuro, which I've actually been sitting in. Been sitting in the last 10% of Nuro, looking for it to roll down. And then this, of course, happened. So it just broke the top. And this is what happens when you move your stop, which I, of course, did because I was only in the 10% left. And then it gets blown through 5 even, is now halted to the upside, indicating a 525 open. So as good as it was to the short, I don't know if you're still in this one, Fahad. Let me know. No? Oh, then I shouldn't have said. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. But the next level up is 540.
Blowing up Fahad's joints.
Well, I didn't. I thought maybe he was still in it, and then it's halted up. He'd be happy about it. So, sorry, buddy. 540 is the next level to the upside here. If it does fail, I mean, this stock already sort of failed once off this. It's probably like a little bit of a late jailbreak rally. So this is now when we get to watch throughout the close, or till the close at least. But Tesla is, I'm in this Tesla trade still, and I'm feeling like UVXY continues to try to break the bottom of the channel, and Tesla's barely bouncing off VWAP here. Like, you can see how tight the range has gotten, and it hasn't given a chance to really reload, but look how weak this looks. And it's just, there's probably better longs to be had here. I mean, I was kind of hoping there'd be softy 250 at this particular point, but you can see how weak Tesla is, and I'm kind of wishing I had taken some out there when it got up to like 17s and 18s. But this might be one to cover, and then the UVXY short just might be the better play here instead of trying to play a weak-ish Tesla.
Well, Neil got stopped out of Nuro today after saying it was 7 million float, remember. This is what I wanted to happen this morning, but anyways, halted currently upside for NURO. I couldn't believe that either. What a move! But yeah, we haven't had one of these in the afternoon for a long time. So a nice look, anyways. If anyone's still long, NURO. As mentioned, Miss Danielle Shay coming up in a few minutes here. We'll get her take on a number of things, including the retail destruction that we saw earlier in the week. There's still obviously big names in the group to come, so we'll ask her about trading those. We'll talk about big tech going into next week, how she's going to approach that. So Miss Shay coming up in about 15 or so.
Okay, I'm going to, always nice to have Danielle Shay on. We really enjoy your commentary, especially because it's more like obviously on the option side. So if you guys are into trading options, Ms. Danielle Shay in the building, not in the building, but on our show in a couple of minutes. I'm surprised here. So this one's obviously, me and Neil always say this, it's on us because it is. We put our orders out. like, I don't know why I would have a 138 clean break there, but I must have. Generally speaking, whenever I'm trading in here, so we got out of our Apple. I mean, it did come right back down as soon as we got out of it. But okay, that's just whatever the problems of a day trader. But, you know, you shouldn't give it to 138. You should at least give it to like 138.10 or something like that. Not all the way up to 138. Well, you can give it to 138.50. That's fine. But, you know, that was a mistake there. So I'm just going to refix this. So we got right back in, and now it's coming back down into the downside. So, hey, if we could just make back that money that we just lost right there on a little bid right here, if that comes in on the 50 period, we'll go down to Scalp Nation again here and look to do that here for Apple as that's coming back down. Excuse me, maybe it doesn't, but we're bidding right here in the 50 period, try to get some out here, scalping out of Apple. And then, by the way, AMD did the same thing, man. It didn't break our level at 98. So, comes right back in there. There's a 98.45. That's another 25 pennies, right? So this is what, it's not another 25 pennies, it's the same trade, but we got stopped out of our Apple at the same time. We take a little bit out here on AMD, as that's what I was talking about with a little bit of a hedge on there. Not that that's what we're doing. Hedging is for gardeners. And a shout out to my wife. She's got everything planted now in the front. We've got jalapenos in the back, sweet red pepper, I think a sweet orange. Yeah, the jalapenos are in there. We've got beefsteak tomatoes. We've got some kind of cherry tomatoes. And I don't know if you've ever heard of cucamelons.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, they're like a mix. I think they're called Mexican watermelon, to be honest with you. And they're a mix between like a cucumber and a watermelon. And they're just these little mini guys. Anyways, my kids grab them, pop them like that. It's great. Cucamelons. So we have a few of those growing. We have some romaine, some head lettuce. I don't know, head lettuce. I don't know, endive maybe. We have a bunch of stuff. Chives, green onions. Anyways, I can go on and on, but a shout out to that. Obviously, that's really good. Nuro now open, hopefully ripping higher.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's probably.
I thought you were long.
No, God, no.
Oh, you're short.
God, no. I mean, I probably should be long because it did take out that top. But like I said, I was holding the last 10%. And when I adjusted my stop, I didn't actually put it back in. So that'll happen. 540 is the key price here. Like, it did a bit of a failed break just now. Why do I need my... That is way too aggressive. Oh, goodness. When you see that line on the chart, I think I've said this before, like that is not like where my stop is. That is how far the limit order is when it takes out the high. So my stop will be at the high of the day. But that 540 is a good level. This was like, if you got that break at 475, like that was the level this morning. Like that's the level that you really want. And if it takes this out, I should get to the next point. If it takes this out, like this is the kind of room. Usually when there's air between the next key price level and the next one to the high side, I'm almost always going to take that trade because that's almost a more important level here where you think it has a chance to turn. Because if it gets past this, you definitely think it's going to open way up, and then you get really, really patient with it up there. So for now, I'm in Nuro, but if we can actually clear the current high of the day, then certainly this can run. And I did make that move where I got out of Tesla and held UVXY.
Your favorite stock is running.
I'm watching it. I know GameStop's through 100, and out of one corner of my eye, like I'm watching GameStop, and I'm seeing Nuro right here. I have a stop on that on Nuro, so I can get over to GameStop, and it is absolutely flying. And the thing about this 100 level, you can see on the daily chart, like we've gone through 100 plenty of times, and I traded this at 90 once, but we've been through 100, multiple times here in the last few days. So it doesn't have the significance that I think people might want to attribute to it. It might be able to get to 102. That was pretty good last time. 105, 108 was fantastic. So it's on the radar to be sure, but it's not as simple as stock at 100, shorted at 100. If it pulls a failed break, which could still happen, then I might use the 100 level for a short. But I wanted to show you the higher time frame. Trust me, GameStop doesn't make a move without me wanting to trade it. It's up 10% today, so it falls in that category.
I'm long. So we're long right now through 100. We're long at $100.20 right now on GameStop. Let's just see where it goes. I'm just going to hold this. I'm going to give this $1 worth of room. If it breaks back down below 99, we're going to, hopefully get out and not miss our stop like we did on Apple. Apple broke 138, and honestly, I put a 138.15. I don't know what happened to this candle, but we lost 30 cents more than we wanted to there on Apple as we got out in the 40s. So that one there, squash central on that. We wind up, it's still fine. We're positive on Apple, happy with it. Everything's all good, but definitely gave some back there on that move. But look what happened when Apple got to the upside. And again, look, this is like, I can't I tweeted it out, and I was like, oh, man, we're just scalping this like a madman. But there it is right there. The scalp turns into a great little 70, 80 cent winner there. We're long 98.20 3 times. Like, look, 1, 2, 3. These are all out, reload, boom. You got to hold something for the high side, right? It just sucks because net, I didn't take advantage of that move because I wound up getting not stopped out, but my stop, well, now it comes right back, of course. I missed that punch out there on Apple, and I had to take out 50s there. So I don't know. Me and Neil talked about that a little bit, that, you know, some of these stop orders right now just don't seem to be exactly I mean, I think they fire off, but I don't know. It seems like I'm just not getting the fills, and that could be attributed.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure either, but like, I just attribute that to the market. But like, when I look at Apple here, and this is what I mean, like, if I'm crossing up like 5 or 10 pennies, I mean, that should hit. Like, you know, Apple's very, very liquid here. It's literally a penny every time. So I don't know. Anyways, look. A loss is a loss, and sometimes you get slippage. So, unfortunately, that slippage was like 30 cents more than it should have been. So, not sure about that. But anyways, there goes Apple. Now it's retracing back. No more shorting Apple, I don't think, anyways, until we get back to 140. So we'll have another look at that one. Obviously, I just talked about being long on GME. No idea where this one's going to go. You know, maybe a little too conservative, probably getting out of that at 99 as it's respected. I didn't even notice that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better,
no.
This feels like a trap.
Yeah.
And by this, I mean, I'm like, you're long, I'm short it.
I didn't even pay for shorts, man, so I don't know.
It just did I have to pay for shorts?
Did you not have to? Maybe you
Oh,
didn't
I
have to?
did, never mind.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 1/3 of a cent. I don't know why, it's whatever.
You know what?
That's literally as cheap as we ever pay, is 1/3 of a cent. So when I just said it felt like a trap, it's because, like I showed you on the 15-minute chart on Gamestop, you had more significant levels, at least in terms of resistance, at 102, 105, and 108. So 100 seems like an obvious trap. Well, if that's the case, and I see a setup, I'm going to take it, which I've obviously done here, then I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive scalping some of this out in front of 99. And then if 99 breaks, I got to be thinking then I can think about 97. I already had this happen to me on the 98 short, you can see. And this one I actually, look, I like this short a lot when I got into it. And then it did, I got into the short here at 90, like right here at this 97 level. And then you see it do this failed breakout. And when it did that, I'm like, ooh, let's take more shares. And then I'm like, oh, it's cruising, baby, getting some out at 96, just made a buck. Next thing you know, it's stopping right out there. So it's like, I've already fell for a trap once on GameStop by not just quickly taking the profit. So this time, a little bit more aggressive, just taking some of it out there. Still watching that Nuro. Oh, goodness, that's not good, UVXY.
What happened now?
So UVXY was cruising. And it's a little harder shorting this thing at the bottom, at least. Like, I was on the bid at the low of the day, and I'm like, oh, it's rolling back down to the bottom. I was on the bid, which is what happens. There's so much quote stuffing in this stock, by the way. Anyways, and then the second it gets there, it's like, oh, and we're right back up to 1650, right back into the top of the channel in one candle, one shot, just like that. So this is why the market's not breaking out, because you're not breaking out of this channel. It did the same thing for like an hour in the morning before it eventually broke down. So there's still some time. I just don't think we're breaking out overall unless UVXY goes. That's just my take. And Nuro, by the way, yeah, this thing is, for a stock that just halted, like really, you're not going to do anything? Like if it's going to hold the halt bottom, then it should be through the top by now, you would think. Otherwise, it should have come all the way back into 475. Instead, literally neither thing is happening.
Okay. If you can't guess what I've just done, then I think you're probably on the wrong show. All right, an AMD down to 98. That's a reload spot for me, so we're going to do that right now. Reload that at 98. We're long at 98.07. It's only 10 cents in the money. We're looking for a little higher than that if we can get into the 20s. Remember, we're in scalp mode now for AMD, so, I mean, even 10 cents isn't a horrendous take for me there, as we just stopped at my level there. I was trying to get 23s. There we got, okay, there it is. So just got 23s right now. We'll take a 20 as well. Let's go. Maybe it'll just keep on flying. Just give me. We'll take some more 21s right now. There it is. Bang again. And all we're doing, like, look, we just scalping it. I just got out at 30% there for 15 cents. It's nothing, but hey, this is what we're doing. I want to see the rest of this hold. Let's see now if we can get back up to the upside. I'm done. We don't have to scalp out for that. Now we've paid for whatever happens to the downside. I mean, my out is literally, like, this is what I'm talking about. We're long at 98.04. I'm getting out on a break just a little lower than 98. So, you know, if this wants to continue to go upside, we're already doing pretty good on the risk to reward here. So we'll watch out for that. that. We did average into Gamestop. Our average price now, we just took that there at 99 flat. So our average price now is 99.80. It's not a huge average in, but still, either way, it is an average in. So we'll watch to see where that goes. And I just lied to you all because I just took out another piece of AMD. Come on, cancel that one. We were just at 4. I'm gonna get one more out. So and then I promise that's it. Remember I said to you, the more I sit in front of the computer, the less money I actually make. Well, I mean, like I just scalped some out here at 98.23, and then it rips to 98.40, right? But hey, that's a trade. If I'm not sitting here, I also don't have this trade on. So that's another thing. There it is again. We'll go for that one, buddy. As there it goes in and out. Now we have 50% left only of this trade. So upside, the scalping continues, man. Look, I'm here. This is what I do. Not only that, AMD is my #1 stock today because I didn't do this, right? I did it early, but then it started to rip up, and we took $2, $3, $4, $5 winners on AMD today. So it's not like I'm not capable of doing that. And now that we have half left, let's just hold the rest and see where we go. As far as this trade is concerned, this is not in my wheelhouse. Like GameStop making this kind of a move, I would normally never, ever.
Oh, you did it. Never mind.
Take this long at the top. The reason why, again, pretty simple, man. It broke 100, and it's kind of like me and Neil, just same logic, but just different ways here a little bit. It's like it broke 100, so that's where I wanted to test it and not giving it that much room. Like I'm thinking here that this name, not that it could halt, because it'd have to go to like I guess it would have to go to 110, obviously, on that kind of a break. It's possible of that happening. So I just took the shot on the possibility that, not that it halted, just that it got steam through 100, right? Realistically, this was the trade. Bouncing, seeing 95 over and over again, coming down, hitting VWAP, getting going, taking down that 95. That's like a Sean trade. This one is just, let's wait and see. It's respected this all the way up, this 50 period, all the way up, right? So that's why we took that last fill right there, because we're waiting for a 98.50 break. But now it's going to be 98.70 break. So I'm kind of changing this as we go, because remember, slippage on GameStop could be relatively dramatic here. So, if it breaks it down, we'll wait for this 50 period to climb here. Hopefully it comes back upside. We'll take this, but there's my first trade, bad. There's the average in, good. And then we'll wait to see where it takes us. We're flat on the trade right now. AMD's climbing, man. Don't show this to Danielle Shay, because she'd be like, what are you doing scalping this out? You won't do that on options, but that's why we're trading stock right here. It's ripping up to the upside. Look at all these reloads here. Every single one of these trades I'm getting paid for because I'm taking shares. We have a maker-taker model, and we're able to take it to the upside and try to hold on. So we're holding on to half. If we take down 98, we're out of there. Okay, Jim. I almost said Jimmy, taking it from Prad. But there goes GameStop. Let's see where we go. We are now 50 cents in the money. Hopefully we get more on this, and we can continue to climb. I didn't do any work on this, I don't know.
102, 105, 108.
I was going to say, okay, yeah, so you already have it. So 102, okay. So right there, 102 is a level that I'm going to sit at right now, take out a third of it, and then see if we can't hold the rest for what we hope for is a breakout here on GameStop.
I told you it was a trap. So my stop is at that actual 150. So I took 2/3 of it out because it felt like a trap. This way we can't lose on the trade at least. It still has a chance to hold that level. Thank you, Nicole Harris,
what up,
for
Nicole?
The super chat. Asking about Bed Bath & Beyond, BBBY, because you had $10 calls. Well, we have a certain expert on options that'll be on in just a couple of seconds. But I will tell you this, the downside, of course, is I think we understand what space they're in, which hasn't been the best this week. So that's less than ideal, to be honest with you, especially what's happened across the board, unless you're BJ wholesales. However, it is at a level where it's been consolidating here long enough that it has been setting up for a break. And I feel like this would have happened already. This would have broken were it not for what happened overall to, I guess, to all of the retailers, because it's had a strong base. It's been resisting getting below that $9, which it probably wouldn't have done so if it wasn't for Target, if it wasn't for Walmart this week. So it had been relatively, I think, stable with a chance to break out, and certainly it looks like it wants to climb to that $10, but it's what's going on in the space that I think is holding you back from that overall, and there's not much you can do about it, but we did know with retail earnings this week, so that was always going to be the downside. We said we're going to have Danielle Shay, and here she is. Let's go to Brendan at the big desk.
Hey, yeah, she is here. Danielle Shay, VP of Options, Simpler Trading, back with us once again after a long weekend last weekend. Hey, you get a long weekend again next weekend as well. I mean, we do too, but it's this weekend. Anyways, it's been a mess in the retail sector, to say the least, this week. I mean, we never really like to trade in hindsight here, so let's maybe approach this from how could we have maybe seen some of these moves or taken advantage of some of these moves as traders in real time. You know, you never want to see a Walmart do what it did 2 days ago, but I mean, pretty amazing moves right across the board. Is there one or two maybe that, you know, stood out to you going into the reports as potential targets and potential big movers as they were?
You know what took me so by surprise this week is, I mean, I've been literally shorting like pretty much everything on earnings. I've been primarily focused on a lot of the, you know, ARC names and a lot of the names that just rallied so hard last year and the year before. And I'm going to be honest here, this Walmart and Target move, I mean, it took me completely by surprise. I went into this week after having a long weekend. I was on vacation. I wanted to remain pretty flat because I went to Legoland, by the way, which was great. I really missed all of you though. And so I went into this week pretty flat because I thought, you know, this is basically the last shot that the market has is retail earnings. If retail earnings can come out and say, hey guys, inflation's not that bad, we've got it under control, then I thought that could have been the catalyst to send the market higher. So when you're saying, you know, looking back, could you have seen it? I mean, you know, everything that I look at stats, I look at the previous earnings reports. I would not have seen this bad of a result from Walmart and Target. Some of the others have been pretty obvious, like Teladoc, but not this one. So I think the best thing to do with complete shockers like that is trade them after the fact. You know, I mean, Walmart is still falling. So I would just day trade them after they get hit, because once people realize that the situation is that bad, they're just going to keep going down.
So let's do that then. Let's approach this from the other side of the spectrum here. As traders, we always like to look for opportunity. I mean, those moves were like, you got to go back to Black Monday, like 1987 for, you know, comparable single day moves. Now we're getting into levels we haven't been at in months and in some cases years on many of these. Where do we go from here? Is there the potential for maybe a quick kind of bounce trade?
I'm not looking for bounces on these names. I'm going back and I'm looking at pretty much where they were prior to the pandemic, or where they were, you know, right around March 2020, April 2020, because a lot of these stocks are giving back their gains all the way until that time. So honestly, I'm starting to target those areas on a higher time frame. As far as where do we go from here, I'm sticking with my regular plan. You know, I'm looking for companies that rallied way too hard throughout 2020, 2021. It's a lot easier if you pick the companies that are still losing money, because the market has no tolerance for that right now. And any of the ARC names, like for example, we have Zoom next week. Zoom is one of the ones that's on my list for a potential destruction candidate. I think that traders, you know, we have to be aware of the fact that at this point, this disease of stocks getting hit like Black Monday is not limited to stocks like Teladoc. So I think that we need to be very cautious, because now, you know, the large caps are getting completely creamed. But I think what you do is you either A, decide you want to trade it before earnings, if it's something like I noted that has a higher probability of falling, or B, just wait until after and trade the post earnings move, because that's where all the moves are right now.
All right, so let's look ahead to next week, the big one in the retail space, that is. I mean, you mentioned Zoom as well, but Macy's set to report coming up on the 26th. M up 3% today, huge move down yesterday, obviously. What are you looking at it, first of all, and what do we do with Macy's going into earnings?
So, you know, I think as a general rule, it makes sense to just look at retailers to the downside, just due to all the issues that the companies that have already reported have noted. But I'm going to tell you that with Macy's, it's a little bit strange, because looking at my charts here, you know, this company has actually traded higher on earnings for the last 5 quarters in a row, which just completely shocks me, because I thought malls, you know, were a dying breed. I'd never go to Macy's. I haven't gone there since I was like 16 years old. So I'm a little surprised at this one. And because of the fact that it's already tanked so much, I actually wouldn't short this because they've done well the past couple quarters. For me, I would just sit and wait on that one. There is one that's coming up next week, which is going to be, let's see, Petro. So for this one, I would be more likely to short that one because it's a recent IPO. The recent IPOs have seem to do a lot worse than some of the more stable companies. So I would actually pass on Macy's and look at Petco because it's trading near the lows. It's a $15 stock. It's fallen on earnings, 3 out of the 5 quarters. So that one seems like a higher probability for me to short before earnings.
We happen to have a graphic for that. But anyways, yeah, no, an interesting look for I said it felt like Friday around here already, but it's not even Friday yet. An interesting look, anyways, for the retail space going into what should be a slower period. I want to talk about the summer coming up here. We had a great question from a viewer that I want to run by you in a second, but let's talk about the idea of being short in this market because the move to the downside continues. We had an attempt at a bounce to start the week. And in a bear market, Neil and I were having this conversation earlier, in a bear market, those bounces get sold. And now we're seeing that. We're right back to lows here. So what do you need to see here? I mean, you've been on the short bandwagon, all since the start of the year, essentially. What do you need to see here to get off of that?
I just haven't seen any follow through and I haven't seen any buying. And I mean, I was listening to Sean before I came on and he was trading AMD. And, I think that's a great idea coming in and trading AMD when you do get these little bounces. But for what I would need to see is really more than one day. I would have to have at least 2, if not 3 days of follow through. I would need to have volume coming in to the major large cap stocks, Apple, Microsoft. I know that NVIDIA and AMD definitely have had some upwards price action, but it's pretty much faded almost immediately. So I would need to see more regular buying, more volume buying in the large cap stocks. I would even need to see some of the stocks that have gotten trashed start to, at the very minimum, hold the lows and stop just completely bleeding. But I mean, at this juncture, I'm a swing trader too. So, I'm staying on the short side until further notice. And it's probably going to have to be the Fed that does something major to change this situation.
Okay, I want to get your take here on what we're kind of expecting to be another, slow summer period. Had a great question from a viewer, as I mentioned, talking about specifically for options and options trading. I mean, in equity markets, we always see, volatility kind of die down and things go away as June, July, August approach and come and go. What do you do from the options side of things in those conditions, in that summer trading period?
So, normally we do look for the summer to calm down, right? It's quiet. All the hedge fund guys are probably in the Hamptons somewhere. I don't know what happens, but it's usually pretty boring. Normally what I do is I focus on earnings. I start focusing usually around halfway through June into July and the first half of August. I focus primarily on the move into earnings and then trading earnings itself, because as far as direction, there's just normally not as much direction to capture. And so in the options market, you at least know that you have earnings reports coming up. You know that implied volatility goes higher into an earnings report and it falls after earnings. So you can at least use options to trade a change in volatility. Now, this year, going into midterms and being in a bear market, I mean, if we get a quiet summer, I'll be surprised, but I think everybody could maybe use a little bit of a break from this craziness. So we'll have to see when we get closer to the time.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, we know you have to go, Danielle. I was just messaging. Is she going to come over to me or what? Thank you again for coming through here. I just want to give a quick update to people. GameStop did touch that 102. That was an area that we maybe should have got out of. All right, I know you got to go, Danielle, so I'm going to ask you about Costco.
Worries.
No worries. Okay, well, now that's tempting now. You know what? I know the market's in trouble because when Brendan asked you what to look for, you did the same thing my wife did whenever I ask her questions. She did the eye roll. You did the eye roll there. So I know that the market still has a little bit of trouble to go here on that one. I saw you on another station. I can't remember what it is. Not as popular as this one. And you were doing something called Trade or No Trade. And what I wanted to ask you is Costco. Trade or no trade? Because right now, Costco, I mean, I have the daily chart up right now, and this is a name that I'm actually not even in yet. And if we look at it here, like what a destruction has been done to a name that I consider like almost a staple in anyone's longer term investment portfolio, especially if you're light on the retail side. What do we think about Costco here ahead of what's going to come for their earnings call? Is this a position that maybe because it's so far down, is this something that you would buy maybe right now? Or is Costco something that you would again wait for earnings and then assess it at that point? Is it at a nibble spot for you? What's up with Costco?
Sean, I have to tell you, this move in staples is just completely insane because I mean, it's the safety spot, right? Or at least it's supposed to be. I love Costco just like you. I really don't see an options trade in it here or a short-term trade just because I feel like a lot of this move has been made based on what happened to Walmart and Target. And, hey, Costco might be completely fine when it comes to earnings. So I'm not going to trade it prior to earnings, but I actually was looking at this chart and thinking, okay, this is one of the few charts that I do want to start picking up long-term shares on. Because, I mean, even though we've seen this destruction, the NASDAQ's down almost 30%. I mean, this is the spot where you have to be looking for things for a long-term portfolio. And Costco's one of the ones that takes the cake for me. So I was actually going to use this opportunity to pick up more long-term shares.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Look what I have here on the desk. So Kirkland, the cashews, the mixed nuts. Yes. We got the men's vitamins right here. So we were actually there this week. And not only that, but here in Canada, I'm sure it's similar where you are as well. Gas prices. I mean, what in the... So I don't actually mind waiting that 5 or 10 minutes in the Costco gas line to fill up a little bit. Any thoughts on energy as well?
So, my thing with energy is that it's been so extended all year and it's been so crowded, just like consumer staples. And I mean, what happened to consumer staples this week is really not something that is supposed to happen in a quote unquote safe area. And when you're looking at energy, I mean, that's kind of the last remaining place where it's actually going higher. So I have actually stepped back from trading energy for the last month because I just feel like even though gas prices are higher and, it is based on a macro situation, I just feel like the reckoning is coming for energy because it's the last spot where people feel safe. And, if we end up capitulating here, which is still what has not happened, we've had a slow bleed. We haven't had capitulation. It'll hit energy too. So long-term stocks, I think, are fine, but I'm not going to be trading this to the upside on a short-term basis right here.
You said the word capitulation, and that's worth a bang right there, as we like stocks and industries that capitulate. Danielle Shay, thank you so much. We know you're short on time a little bit here. Great topics, great talk, and as you already know, it's my favorite segment. I'll see you on Twitter at Dan. What is your Twitter handle, actually?
It's at Trader Danielle, Danielle. What happens is all the fakers,
yes,
they come, they spell it wrong, they add a weird number, they put a space. So I don't know. Hopefully one of these days Twitter will verify me, but samesies.
Thank you, Danielle Shay. Very, very kind of you to come on again once a week, and we definitely appreciate all the content that you bring us.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Ciao.
Bye.
There it is. I mean, does it get any better? I say no. But here we go. Right now, just quickly here, Danielle Shay, look, great ideas there. I'm glad about Costco because honestly, I mean, I'm trying to pick some, I haven't picked any up, was debating that. And, the thing is, I'd hate for them to have gotten beat down so hard during this Staples wreck that she talked about, because what if they actually report decent numbers? The thing's going to skyrocket because there is, exactly. There's an underlying put on the stock because of what's been happening so far. So I do like it. Right now, I'm $2 in the money on GameStop. Not that I think that this is like, a great trade. I mean, I do think it's a good trade, but we are looking for higher on this. We did take a piece out at 101, 180 cents the first time. And then that 102, Neil mentioned that level when I was like, where are we looking at 102? And I actually didn't have an offer there because when it started to rip up, I did cancel that offer and put it right here. I was like, you know what? I want to get out of a third of this. So now I'm back near this. Yeah, I'm at 101.90 to be exact. So here we go. Hopefully it can take off a little bit to the upside. I might just use this momentum to sit on the ask right now. We're sitting here at 101.90. Let's see if it prints. See, it's missing the print there. So let's see if we'll just get out of one more piece. We're at this target area for myself. So far so good here on Gamestop as we're just really right now stacking up some cash on this name and in the market right here. So there it goes. Maybe we get out right here. It is resisting that 102. Maybe a good call on this.
Well, I too did not have an offer to get the 102 short, and then of course it got there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I wanted to short 102. So anyways, now I'm short at 101.45 because that's what the spread cost me. But a lot of things have been making some power moves. I will get to target, I promise you guys. Nuro just made a second test. It doesn't want to go. Like the short off of the reopen, it couldn't take that 540 from the daily chart, and then it worked all the way back down to, hey, that's the breakout price, 475. As usual, exactly what I did the previous time. Hold on to that last little bit to see if it can sort of home run its way back to 420, and then we resisted the high. My stop is going to be clear through that top. Target, we were just talking retailers, and lo and behold, look at that. Maybe the buyers in Target were sort of watching, trade these retailers. They're moving around a lot. But anyways, volume ticked up a little bit as this got through VWAP. However, you kind of look at this and say, it's not a huge breakout. Like we haven't even broken, all the morning levels of resistance. And in perspective, the daily chart, that's really ugly. In perspective, here compared to the drop that we had, we're pretty much right back to yesterday's low of this 155. So I'd like to see, it needs to close above this price to consider it strong. But I'll tell you what I am liking right now. And I got clowned for this because, not really clowned for this. Whoops, UVXY. I got clowned because I've been watching UVXY basically on a daily basis, like drawing lines on the charts and saying, okay, I'm watching it for this is a key level, blah, 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 but not actually trading the damn thing. But I've never traded before. ETFs are a different ballgame. When you're watching the tape or level 2 of an ETF, this is still on Nuro, obviously, there is so much quote stuffing. And when I say quote stuffing, I simply mean that, when you see, look at all the movement on level 2 of the stock and watch it when it takes level, and then look at how many actual prints go through. Oh. Right? Like 90% of what you actually see on the level 2 compared to watching,
look at the volume,
pick any stock. It's got good volume,
yeah.
But it's like big chunks, right?
Yep.
So when you actually put offers and bids out there, it's like you're sort of getting caught up because 90% of what you see is going to be essentially fake, which makes it a little bit different to trade. It's a bit of an adjustment. However, it is pretty solid. That last short has worked. I took out the Tesla long, which would have worked, but held on to the UVXY short. So, this is essentially long the market, right? Like being short this thing. So that's been the way that has worked today. It's been more successful for me, and I'm on the first day trading UVXY short than holding and trying to hold some of the longs, just based on the channel break. So I might start doing this a little bit more often, because it's feeling like it's going to be more cleaner, or however you want to say it, when expressing some of these moves. And we did get through 12,000, by the way. Oh, yeah, that did happen. And I guess if I had held on to Tesla instead of scalping it out, there it is. It did go to 720 after all. So I chose to hold UVXY to the short side instead of the Tesla long, but it's basically the same thing.
All right, so spin it. All right, so we are just, there goes GameStop. We just took it out, 101.40 there, right there. Not took it out, took another piece out. It wasn't going. And I was like, maybe this 102 is legit. I don't know. I know Neil's shorting it. I'm just going to hold out the rest. We do have our out if it breaks back down below 100. It's been riding the 50 period all the way up, so I'm not going to fight this trend. That's why the 50 period for me is on there. So I'm going to put my stop in now through 100 if that goes. And remember that we were scalping AMD? Well, how does that taste, AMD, right now? As it's back up to $99. So there we go. We actually wind up holding about 30 to 40% of that. And we just took a piece out again right now as we go. So there goes AMD. And by the way, here goes GameStop. We're now $3 in the money on that one. But Lucas is ready. All right, we have an announcement to make. And you already know about this. So, here we go. Yeah, we have our... Not that we're sponsored by Costco. That's not what it is, although it seems like that right now.
I'll eat
but
more if I keep these in front of me. So.
Everyone knows, unfortunately, Valeria's last day is going to be Friday. So on that one. But, you know, we are looking for a replacement. So we're going to throw up there it is right there. So we're hiring a co-host, right? Our preference, of course, would be to fill the seat for Valeria. So we're looking for, you know, preferred a female co-host. If you do have any experience in the industry at all, please send your resumes to us right there. It's marketing@tradertv.live. We are looking for that. I hate to do this, and we talked about this before, but you know, we are looking, and if you do know anybody or have any interest in filling the seat that Valeria has, which is going to be tough. That's the only problem with getting a new co-host.
Impossible.
You know, is that you know, the bar is set so high there with Miss V. So it's with a heavy heart, but with a strategic one, because we are looking, of course, just to fill out the team, right? Get more in here, get more excitement for all you viewers as well. So there's the email address right there, and we are looking, and we're going to make this announcement throughout the week. And you know, hopefully, if you guys have any interest in that, please, anybody, send it in there. If you're, you know, in the GTA or anywhere, we are located in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And hey, if you want to relocate, up to you.
Yeah, and of course, there's a line from a movie that I absolutely love, and I'm not gonna. If you've ever seen Remember the Titans, at the very end,
course.
It's like there's no replacing the line.
Yeah.
Like you cannot replace a Gary Bertier. That's the line, but it's the same thing. But unfortunately, that's just the position we have to be in. Speaking of which, she's got the green on right now. Rally this market, Miss V.
Hey team, a lot of questions again where I'm going. No, I'm not being fired or deported. Thank you. But guys, my working permit came to an end and tomorrow will be my last day, unfortunately. But you will remain my family. And again, yes, some of you say I'm irreplaceable. That's true. But again, guys, nobody should be as me. We would love to have someone new who will be adding to the show. And this is a great job opportunity. Again, I had zero experience in trading for anybody who is worried, but just try it out, make an attempt, and I'm pretty sure we will find someone great, guys. So make sure you try to apply, and I'm super excited to see who will be here, and we'll be supporting anyone who will come. That's a great opportunity for anybody. Back to you guys.
We like that. I like
Said
that
it
stamp
better
of,
than we could.
Yeah, stamp of approval there. She likes working here. That's absolutely great. Thank you, Miss V, again for that. And I see already some people talking about wanting to throw down.
Oh, Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic, you're welcome too. You can apply, Dominic.
Okay, look. Obviously, you got to be here. I think that goes without saying. We're in Toronto. We're in Toronto,
no,
Canada.
I mean, it's up to them. I mean, it's wherever.
Well,
So-
yeah, of course. No, I think Dominic's messing with us, aren't you?
I don't know. I should mention something to Danielle Shay for that role. Okay,
Yeah.
AMD, well, she has her own gig.
Well,
all right, so just to go, yeah, anyways, we could take that off. Thank you guys again. It's marketing, in case you're not watching and you're listening for some reason, marketing@tradertv.live.
People do that.
Live. It's not tradertvlive.com, nothing like that. Marketing@tradertv.live. Okay, there it is again. All right, guess what we did again, guys? And if you say Sean reloaded AMD, you would be 100% right. There it is, another reload. Look at this. Like, I tweeted this out about an hour ago, what I was doing. And I just did it again 3 or 4 times since then. We got 98.10, first out 98.30, next out 98.40, next out 98.50, next out after that, the moon. Hopefully we'll see where we go. We are 2 longs right now. Gamestop fell in for sure. That's why we took some out. Remember where our out's going to be? Breaking of 100. Actually, Sean, remember it yourself. You didn't put your stop order out yet. So I'm going to get that order out right now. Yeah, I can use the edge stops or use our own. I don't know what I'm going to dance with. Probably the edge A1. But there we go. And again, the reason why. Remember, it's rode this all the way up. Obviously, I'm long now at 99.03. I don't have any ticks out, lower than my ins. This is a very profitable trade for me. I took it. We held it. Let's see where it goes from here. It's breaking 100. I got to get the stop out.
Yeah, in front of 100, I just took my first leg out because I got that 102 level. I didn't catch it at like 80s or 90s, but trust me when I tell you, when it gets up there and it gets to a key price where it might turn around, the spread is usually like 20 to 40 cents at that point. So it is a pretty tricky trade. Unless you're just sitting there in front of 102, you're pretty much not getting 80s or 90s or anything like that. If it breaks 100, I kind of like this 98.5 to like 99.5. I have a bid out in front of it, but were it to stop at 99, I would also get it out. Checking back in on Nuro, guys. I should ring and register for that one, but Nuro just continues to do this dance, and this works in both ways, right? Like, So the short off of the reopen has worked. However, look at this hold, the day's high at 475. Like every time it's gotten down to this price, it's come right back. And when we talked about this previously, you just sort of look at it where it consolidates on the daily chart. And it's had previous resistance. That's now turning into support on Nuro. So, there's longs in here that for sure are pretty confident if it can hold that 475. It bounces another time, I might just have to get out of it. But, oh, goodness, yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a pullback in this market. When Miss V just came on there, we're now battling green on the ES, and it's just back and forth, like up 0.03, down 0.03. Like we're actually battling this market right now. My UVXY is in the money, but we need to make a big power move here, hopefully. And I keep watching back at Tesla. It's just a chop fest on Tesla, but it is holding. Yeah, it's holding this like 710. Like I decided to take this off and hold the UVXY. And I don't know if I'm going to get this again, the long in front of 710, thinking it was going to be barcoding in that range. And I could scalp this, hold UVXY. Looks like that was the wrong call because it's not giving me that bid again.
All right, so Gamestop, unfortunately, it does break that hundy, which is completely fine. We got a great price, man. We got 94s out on the 99.94, so that was a good one. I believe, yeah, maybe that EdgeX held it. That might be why. We just didn't get it now, but it just held 94 again. We got it about a minute and a little bit more ago. So we got out there on that price, so that's that's too bad, but it's not too bad. I'm super glad that I was able to find it. We were able to make good money on that GameStop trade for sure. And then we just got a little nervous right there, man. The market came back in, and AMD almost came out, but now it's back up 20 cents. I said I wasn't going to do it again, and I did. And this time, I feel like we're really dancing with the devil in a pale moonlight here with AMD, as the market right now just took down that 11,990, which was the 50 period there on the market. So now we're below there. And again, I don't like taking longs if we're below the 50 period. I want to make sure that the momentum to the upside, and we're just dancing. I mean, this could in 1 second be above here. It's not that. It's just it's starting to trend down, and you could see. You never talk about like lower highs or higher lows when you don't have that much data, but you could see we were ticking higher, ticking higher, ticking higher. Then the next leg down is going to be lower. So we have definitely stopped the trend, confirmed by the 50 period. And I just use a 50 period on a 1 minute chart. I mean, it's just I've back tested. I like it. I have a few ideas there. I don't even have some notes like on my screen up here. I don't. Can you guys? Yeah, maybe let's see if you can grab that. I'll just show you. And it's nothing. It's just little reminders for me. Sometimes I look them over. Right now I feel like I'm on one, so I'm not even reading my own notes. But right here, like I have a little sticky note here, little sticky note, big sticky note. And hey guys, what's up to the backside there? But a little bit of action there just to remind myself, this is what I'm looking at, when I'm looking at it, what has to happen, so on and so forth. So right now we're not going to do that again too many times, man. You can't just keep going back to the well. We'll see. It's going to break 97.90 and then we'll be gone. But right now that is AMD. My last trade right now.
Someone just called that the bald cam.
I know, but we make fun of it. We make fun of ourselves on that show.
I love that. That's a good one, man. We deserve it. But it's true. Like whatever. Like there you go. There you go. That's why I cue ball it, because it's at some point you just accept the reality. We could be a hell of a lot bolder than this. Fahad, you're dead. Wow. Don't overdo it,
this
buddy.
Guy really, honestly, he must have another gig lined up that I don't know about.
Habitual line stepper right there.
He must have another job ready to go.
Keep stepping over that line,
I don't know what
buddy.
he's doing here.
Honestly, if it was we're a lot nicer than Arun. Like if you pulled that with Arun 5 times in a row.
Arun?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he wouldn't do that if Arun was sitting here. I know he wouldn't do it because Arun is just I'm saying Arun.
That might be a decent fight. People don't know Fahad. Just letting you know.
I mean, look, I'll be honest, I'll put my money on Arun pretty much just across the board.
I would beat Arun because I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Hey, you know what they say? It's whoever has the most will. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Whoever has the most will.
It's like a pit bull in the ring. You watch what I do to Arun.
Remember Goat?
Yeah, exactly. That guy was a skinny dude. Yeah, exactly.
We're driving past Heart Lake one time in his van, and it's 4 dudes and Goat. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a guy at our high school. He's a big guy. And he stops. He's like, yo, let's just have a fight. And then it's him versus 4 of us, and I'm the smallest of the 4 guys. And it wasn't we're all friends.
Yeah.
There was just a line that he was willing to go past. It was not even fair.
Yeah.
Because we're just we're just gonna have some fun. That guy was just no, this is for real. And 4-on-1 didn't matter. So it's about the will in that fight. Although I still put my money on Arun, even though
Oh,
he's a nice guy.
yeah, no, my money's on Arun as well.
Mess this
Okay,
up, man.
so, all right, so we did get out. So that's it, man. We basically have no LFT today other than that last little trade there. And again, look what I'm talking about. That's a 98.11 reload there, 98.11, right? It's probably 10s, but it looks like 11 on the chart. That's fine. And then there's the out at 97.88. So that's a whopping 22 cents or so of a hit when you could see, I mean, literally all is well over on this side right now. I was actually, while I was dealing with that AMD, I actually meant to go short Apple and forgot about it. So let's have a quickly look here at Apple. Yeah, darn it. There's that 50 period. It was just here, and I was sleeping. Should have been on that one. I blame Fahad again because if we didn't have that camera, then I probably would be short Apple. So we'll have to talk about that.
It was distracting.
But there it is right there, 138.40 coming through right now. So that's not a horrible short against this 139. So maybe even 139.40. Like I do think there's a dollar in this to the downside. So there is possibility to grab that dollar right here. So yeah, I think there is some room to wiggle here on Apple. We definitely missed. We missed a good part of this trade, but I'm going to start it if it gets a little bit back up here, like into the 20s maybe. I don't like shorting bottom. Like when we've had a big move like this in the NASDAQ, and it looks like the NASDAQ may turn red here again, probably will. When you've had a big move like that, unless it's at some sort of a key level, it's like a nothing for me. So I'm going to wait on that one for now. On Apple to the downside, I want to get short 138.20. I'm going to put my offer there right now.
And we did get it, so we'll go with home run. I'm doing this because I keep thinking that we're going to see some actual offense tomorrow when we get to the game where the whole floor does. But I did get out of GameStop. It caught a bid at 99 for like a brief second. I'm like, oh, that's that level. Let me just grab out of it there. So 102 does come all the way back in. I did get that price back on Tesla, and I don't know if we're going to like it, but that's that 710 area that we'll see if it can possibly hold. So I'm now back into the long there. I still have the UVXY short. The good thing is I'm getting Tesla at the same price, but UVXY is still below where it was the last time Tesla was here, which kind of makes me feel at least a little bit better about the trade, but it's a tight stop on that. Brendo?
Nuro back 2-day highs, guys. Also, in addition to Apple, noticeably red name today, JP Morgan down 1.6%. There was just a volume alert there, back to the downside, headed towards day lows, in fact.
Oh, it just reversed again, Nuro. Like this is 3 times on Nuro. And yeah, a lot of times I don't. A lot of times, like when this happens and it doesn't capitulate after the hull trade, I kind of feel like it should either go, don't do it. Like after the hull, like it should have fallen apart. The fact it keeps getting back above that hull price at 5 even means it wants to break out. But I missed that reload here and it came right back into 475. So I am going to take this one. Now at all times, if it breaks the high of the day, I'm gone. There's no getting cute about it, but I don't usually reload these, but it looks like it might just be the right call to at least try to make it happen here. So $5, $4.75, and everything in between are going to be the outs. This is a pretty strong stock, so I said this is working in both directions for traders, which is fantastic. But right now it does feel like the bulls be in control of a little bit of Nuro. Hopefully they can get in control of Tesla, but this market looks like it wants to come back. UVXY, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm saying don't do it, but it's coming right back to that reload zone at 16.5. But if it gets there, I might have to take out that Tesla trade and then opt for maybe a reload of UVXY. The trend to me isn't really broken. Like this has been in a nice, easy trend. So shorting the pops has worked definitely here. And if we do see it, like if this market were to steal a word from somebody else who stole my word, capitulate.
Yep.
Microsoft has just broken VWAP, and it's not 250, but 252 at the open. Like this is the wick down, then it ran towards that 258, but 252 has held on Microsoft. So that could be a little something if things do get out of hand to the downside. I'm not saying they will, I'm just, if it happens, keep in mind 52 is a pretty good level as well.
Yeah, let's, our ZEO, man. I mean, I know, I believe Danielle Shay was talking about getting out of some oil stocks, I think, to the high side. I think she was thinking that maybe that trade was over. Did I hear that right?
Well,
I think
that's
what
what I thought.
Just that it was maybe a little extended here. But yeah, we've been buying this ETF, man, ZEO. It's very, very similar to, this is just for you Canadian fans out there, very, very similar to what's been happening over there with XLE. We started buying this really late to the game, man, down here, and we actually picked them up on the downside. So right now, ZEO taking out some 52-week highs again on that one. Very, very similar to XLE right there. It's quite a dividend as well. So XLE did pull back a little bit if it loads up. Yeah, it was up to $84. So yeah, anyways, a lot of this. The point is that they look the same, right? There's where I was buying it. There's the dip that we bought as well. And now some nice upside move here for XLE. But I know you talk about Chevron all the time, and I mean, I was talking about Valero. Remember when I was talking about Valero at like 105 or something? Let's just check out where Valero is right now, VLO. I believe this name is going to continue to work at least, until this. Yeah, it's only 125. I think it had a pullback. Yeah, no, that's the 1 minute. I think it still had a pullback on the daily. Where's my daily? Yeah, so it did go up to 130. So it's still in that range. But Valero, again, very, very similar. You have some March bottoms, then it come back in and now back up to the upside. So I like this for a name. And then XOM was like $92. Yeah, like another crazy name to the upside in the oil space here. Again, refining. Everything has been working in this space. So watch out here for XOM. Some of these stocks look top heavy, so I can't go against, thinking that. So maybe here, how many times are we going to test this top? Oil today down 2.5%. So, maybe there is a possibility here to get something out of your energy names. If you were thinking that this is close to a top, might not be far off on that. So watch out here. It's been such a monster move. Like you're talking about from January, 60 to 90 here on XOM, right? So that's a big, huge move upside. So just be careful if you're still holding any oil. The only reason I'm saying that is because now I'm thinking about possibly lightening up on some of those spots.
Well, that's the thing. You don't make any profit. You don't take it out, but you can always hold it. Of course, get that dividend. Tesla, I don't know. I'm at the same spot I was before. I take out Tesla, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually thinking about the reloading UVXY instead. I'm just liking that thing. But I'm still in some Lucid shares, by the way. And if you look at this, that 19 area where it eventually broke out. So this was 19, and then 1920 ended up being the top. And then that last break is what got you to 20. Suddenly 1920 is a level on Lucid that seems to be holding. And with the market coming back a little bit, you see 39. The ES was battling positive. Now it's down 0.4% or so. So if it rolls over, Lucid has some way to go. This is what I'm holding out hope for. Obviously with 20 minutes till the imbalances come out here, 23 minutes till the imbalances come out, I will have to be flat on this stock, but I'm just holding to see if it can break this 1920. And then I think it's got like 50 cents, maybe even more than that from here. But in this channel, it's been pretty safe on Lucid. Miss V?
Hey guys, time to get more likes. We have 4,000 people watching, only 600 likes. So if you didn't like this video yet, please do so right now. I know you're busy, guys, and we had a great interview with Danielle Shay. So if you appreciate an effort and all what we do for you, team, please support us back. Guys?
4,000, only 600. You talked about ratio last time. Yeah, that's not a good one. So let's get some likes going on for that right now. You just took a sip of water, made me think about mine as well. That tea was working out pretty good there. Oh, shout out to Rob's, I won't say their last names, but shout out to Rob as he's hooked us up with the hauls. No, nothing. I just, that was a good one. Those actually were working out pretty good there. He's not here today, but that was last week. Just trying to find out some more names here today. ARK, A-R-K-K, the main one, starting to go a little bit here, up that 6%. Oh, yeah, that's an Amex name. Oh, no, I just typed it in and pushed enter. Hold on a second. Maybe I can get it back right now. There's ARK today again. Look, it's been beat down. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, pick up some ARK, but we talked about a lot of those beat down names, and Danielle Shay even mentioned as well that it's been picking on some of these ARK kind of names, right? I mean, and at some point, I don't know if it's going to capitulate back to the upside there. The volume was pretty big on that day when we made that bottom there at 36. So, that was one of the highest, you guys probably can't even see that. Hold on a second. That was one of the highest volume days right there. That was the highest volume day of the year when we touched down to 35 there on ARK. So watch out for that. That was May 2nd. And again, just thinking like the way this stock has looked, and again, I guess it's a stock, but the ETF here, it's just come all the way in, right? And so at some point, like I said, you have a Roku that looks similar to this. I mean, all of these names, Palantir, whatever, call it what it is, but you're right back in here. And I like to see that increased volume. And we got it there. We got it there. Basically, the back-to-back days, we had 3 of the highest volume days. Not just, I mean, there were high volume days in the market. So it's just when you look at that, especially when you make that bottom and on high volume, potential here for ARK. So I just wanted to bring that up, that there is some more investable names here. If you were trying to bottom pick, that's ARK. There's also S-ARK to go the other way if you're thinking that.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of ways that you can express your trades, and certainly finding an ETF that groups it effectively is going to be a good one. I was just watching ZM here, because I know we were talking about it. This was a pretty good pullback. Well, I understand the market's pulling back as well, but this is one of the stronger names out here. And yeah, I probably should have had a closer look at this, but I know when I watched it, I was sitting there saying, okay, you got to be patient, always wait for your price, don't get out of pocket. And every time I pulled it up, it's like, no, I mean, this has to get to 95. It's the same thing as GameStop. Like, it probably just needed to get to that, break that 100 level. Like, it just needed to get to 95. Look how strong it is. It never does. And that's an example of, okay, well, if you break rule, you win. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily the right thing to do. And that's just all I see when I watch that. But I wanted to come back to Coinbase quickly for just a little bit. This is now starting to roll over. So it got to that 70 mark. And now, all these trades in there are kind of going to screw this up. But it's now trying to break down. So showing you guys Lucid attempting to break down off of support. Coinbase, another very strong name, looking like it's doing so as well. My UVXY is coming right back and looking, it might stop out. Microsoft is back to this 253. So, I mean, I hate to say it, like we were looking like we could hold up green today, and it's kind of feeling like the rug pull might start to come in. I just rang the register a little bit more there in front of $5 on Nuro, so that's continuing to work. And like I said, this is working in either direction for people here, as long as you have outs. The breakout that happened at 475, the previous high of the day, or even here at VWAP at like 450 or so, those are both still pretty good and in the money. These halt trades, I can tell you, there was a great strategy the last couple of years, well, maybe definitely last year than previous to that, where you'd get that break and then you'd get in on the halt and then just let it run higher. That hasn't been as good, and it works in both directions. Like, actually paying up for that halt price has not been as good of a trade. So you want to make sure you're catching these before they break, or ensuring that it actually, continues to move. Like, when it tests back in, like, why not have it at 475 or 480 in front of the previous high, and then have your stop out at 450 or something? It gives you more room for the trade to work, as opposed to getting in there at like 505, and then it really needs to go. And then when it doesn't, it's like, what do you do now? You're just sitting in no man's land all afternoon. But for now, the short is working on Nuro. If it breaks 5 even, great. I'll always try to hold some down for VWAP.
All right, so in trying to find, Nuro, again, trying to trade active names here at Cisco, up 76 million shares right now. It's starting to go back upside right now. So, I'm not sure. That's 41.65 right there. I was going to get out if it takes down 41.70. So it looks like that's going to happen right now. Again, it's not a big position. We got out initially up here, so we do know, and we talked about this, right? Cisco possibly making a run in the afternoon against the market, and that seems to be exactly what's happening right now. So we're going to be very, very careful with this one. Not a good position. We're short at 56 right now, so we're out of the money 10 cents. I mean, if this breaks 70, which it looks like it wants to do, I have no doubt right now this is going to break. So we're right now hoping that it doesn't, and that's never a good spot. You don't want to hope for a trade, but we'll hold this against that 70. We shouldn't have started it there at 55, but we did. We should have waited for the 50 period, but hey, we did it, so now we got to be responsible for it. 41.70 break there, and we're gone, and we've already set the order, so that's just one trade that I'm looking at. I did want to short Apple on any sort of a move back upside, but we're nowhere near that. It was really a missed opportunity, what I said right there, when it came back up to that 50 period. That would now be $1 in the money. That sucks. And then the other name that I was looking at, if we're looking long now, and I'm not looking long, but I'm just wondering about Microsoft on the long side. It's still more positive than the market, but if you're going to play that game, then I think the best name would be AMD, because AMD's still up that 1%, and looking at some of these bottoms again, $97. So you're coming close here, but like, I don't really want to go long into this close right now again. The market's just, starting to puke a little bit here. We took down 12,000. That was a key level for me right there. Did we get 1,000 likes, by the way? Yes, we did. Thank you guys so much for that one. So we'll go bang for the 1,000 likes on there. But there's 12,000 again. So that took that down. Now you're starting to go down. Watch out for a break of this NASDAQ level 11,850 here. To come into play. So we're short Cisco, which just came back in a little bit. We should be short at the top, and then we'd be celebrating a little bit more, but it's coming back in. We're 5 cents out of the money on this. And for me, that's the short idea that I have, and I am looking for some more. So if anything else is setting up, guys, let me know for that.
Yeah, there is, and thank you to Dominic for pointing out some things breaking the highs of the day and actually making some power moves here. Like iMac, IMAC. Making a bit of a break late in the session. So thank you guys. And again, this is why the community is so good, right? Like, you're not going to catch everything. Not everything's going to be on your scanner, but together we can find what is moving. Through 115, any break of $1 on a stock like this is significant. If it can sustain this, which that's a pretty decent level, it's got some room. It's got some room to 140. Peter Lynch disclosing a stake. That's why you have the volume spike on it. But that's a triple top, quadruple top. What if, more of a triple top. That's what I call it, that it's trying to sustain the breakup, and it's a good volume, oh, you guys can't see. It's a good volume spike right there. Like, that's another thing that we always try to look for. Like, when you see that it was doing good volume off the bottom, good volume when it tested the high before, and then when it makes this break, you're actually getting volume not down here, and it's like chintzy volume, and then all of a sudden, it ends up not really following through. So this one has a chance. I want to see, does it maintain the volume? Which hasn't happened just yet. Does it continue to sort of churn through in the next couple of minutes, maintain this 115 to 120ish channel on decent volume, and then you formed a little bit of a base. So it's definitely on my radar. We're going to definitely watch it. It's like, I want Softy. It just doesn't want to be at 252. Like, that's the frustrating part of it. Like, I feel like we have a chance to make a bit of a bottom. And of course, there goes Nuro again, man. Like, what is with this stock?
I don't know.
And I know what just happened on Nuro. Give me a break. Why do I always get left with like a little bit left? Like I just got this fill. So what happens is I hadn't adjusted my stop, and then I end up with an accidental long. I got out of the long. I don't want the Nuro long up here. So I got accidentally long. I just paid the spread. So I'm now out of Nuro. And it's continuing to go. I should have held on to that accidental long and then just sort of rolled it into what probably will now be $6 because that's usually what happens. But I didn't intend on being long. I had just gotten hit on the bid at 490 and hadn't even had time to adjust my stop order. So my stop was then for more shares than I had. So I had to punch out of that long. You should not ever hold on to a trade that you didn't intend to get into. That's just my rule. I don't care if it works. It just doesn't make any sense.
We kind of say that all the time there, we got to watch out for making those mistakes. And I did one earlier on Apple, and I don't remember where it was, so I can't really talk about it, but we did have a same similar situation there. Okay, Cisco, it's coming back in there. Looks like there we go. I was going to say, we missed the last time it came down here, so I did put a bid at 53 and then a small one at 52 just for 10% each, so we should get this 52 one out. There it is. So now we'll see if it comes back in again. So re-shorted here, so that's good into this play. So we'll see if Cisco wants to come back down. As I said, man, we were waiting for 70s, and if we would have, then we probably, I might just cash it all out now. But the market's coming down, so let's see. We don't have, it's 336 already. I don't know if we have an update on the imbalance locator, but that's going to be an issue for us today for sure coming through. So 11,850. I shouldn't say for sure. The NASDAQ's been pretty choppy. I'm really interested in the short if and when we break this 11,850 that we talked about. I still have that Apple. It's crazy because my Apple's sitting there at 138.20. Might as well cancel that one. No, that's not going to be coming in. So we need to find some more now as we go. See, I said that. What's up, M Trades? They're not actually matching shirts, but
they're not even close.
I was just going to say, but they're close, and then you said that. So they're not close.
They are. They are.
All right, there we go. Roblox, 5% up. RBLX, and again, just Kathy Wood name here. Another one of those beatdown names that's come and gone here. Roblox was up to 150, 160, not even that long ago.
Holy
and then
Nuro.
Today even. Boom. Nuro's the one that's doing everything. Eh? I got to go over to that stock. I don't even know why I'm looking at it. I'm hearing you talk about it all
Accidental
the time.
long, man.
Accidental long.
And the crazy thing about it, I was just telling you guys, it's like the stock has actually worked almost perfectly for either direction that you wanted it. But obviously the long is now starting to go gangbusters. And I was just sort of saying, like, yeah, it was better 475 long than 5 long, but it doesn't matter when it's going to $6. But when in doubt, zoom out. And like I said, well, I didn't say this in the afternoon. I think I said it earlier. $6 has been broken. I think 625, 6 to 625 is probably your level there. So it's got some room to continue to run. We have some time to go. However, you'll see me out of UVXY. It's the first time I've ever traded it. I'm not going to be in UVXY anywhere close to the imbalances coming out. Because quite frankly, I have zero idea what it looks like when the imbalances come out. Maybe the liquidity goes. I don't know. So I don't want to be in it when that happens. But Nuro, yeah, it gets up to like 625. That's worth a look. That's something we can trade all the way into the end of the day. Softy doesn't want to be at 252. If the ES is going to hold 3,900, if we're going to actually catch a bounce here, I mean, this is what Microsoft is at 250 on the daily chart, and that's obviously a great level. But the higher low at 253 has just been holding fort for the last, I think, 20 minutes or so, just barcoding off this level when I keep wanting to play 252. But the market's saying, no, you're not going to get to play 252. It's 253 or bust, Neil. And if you think you want to take a long in front of Microsoft, well, you're going to have to do it here. So I'll risk that 20 cents, whatever it works out to be. Maybe it'll be like 25. I have no idea. On Microsoft and see if we can't get it here. It's just beggars can't be choosers. Like, this is a level. If it comes down to 252, I hope it doesn't. But we'll probably try again at that particular price, unless it's literally 349.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So we have 10 minutes until those imbalances. I'm still trying to look for something here, and I was debating on this Roblox if we can break this 34.20 right there as an area, but I don't really want to go long, and this name's been strong today, so again, I just want to call that name up. Canada Goose also up 9%. Just looking to see what's up today as opposed to down, but I guess I got to look the other way. What the heck happened? I know UAA, didn't they have, what was it?
CEO left.
I was going to say management changes, and they've just been getting absolutely destroyed, and then now today, UAA, Under Armour, to the downside continues. There's their earnings. I mean, that was nasty. Now you're down to $9 on Under Armour. Wow, that's pretty nasty there for a move back in. It looks like that we're going to get stopped out here on Cisco, so that was a good out there. Again, we took 2 out, so we only got out at 20% down there, so this is going to be a loser, obviously, as it breaks back above 41. There we go. We should be out now. There it is. So we just took us out on Cisco, and that's that now. We go long a little bit. Actually, we got out of 30%, actually, because now I see what I'm long. So we got at 30% of that down there. Now it put me long 30% on Cisco. Now to the upside. Because it broke that, it could be worth holding out until this 41.90 now that we took down that level. So let's just wait to see. We could get thrown around here. Like I said, I don't know if we really want to be long or short right now, even anything. I mean, the market is coming down, but then it's like right at these levels again. The problem is you put on a new short right now, it's sure. I mean, you know, if we go to the bottom, that's great. But honestly, I'd rather just take a short if and when we break the bottom. And right now, there's only 9 minutes, 8 minutes until the imbalances come out, which is going to affect it. And after that trade, I mean, we gave a little bit back. So just so you guys know, I gave back about 5% of my day on this trade alone. So obviously not happy with it, but hey, that's not horrible for me anyways, as here. Now we're getting some back as it's starting to go back up here on the long. So we'll wait to see where that goes, but we did give back a little bit there. And like I said, normally, like if this was a bigger time of the day, you know, we would be willing to hold this a little bit to give us that room up here. But, you know, we don't want to lose that 20 to 25% of sort of our day, like I said, on one trade. So we're going to wait for that right now to see what happens with Cisco, maybe some topside breakage here. The mock on balance, I saw someone say 100 million. So that's not going to be anything. We're looking for hundreds of millions. So like 400, 500, 600 million on the imbalance is something that's actionable for me. Right now, if it's only going to be 100, then it's not that much. Watch out for Foot Locker after hours as well. Disney's down to 103, by the way.
100 on Disney. Yeah.
Yeah, 103 right now.
That is happening. So Microsoft did decide to break that 253. It then immediately recovered. It then broke it again, and it's now immediately recovered again. So a bit of a chop fest there. It's getting close enough to 350 to not want that trade. Of course, I mean, I was staring at Nuro as it got to $6. Well, it got to $5.89, which it was like pennies away from, okay, it's in the pocket, let's try for the turn there. And of course, it goes to $5.89, and now it's pullback. So there might not be a trade a trade left for me in particular. Now it's just down to the two things we've been holding all day long. All afternoon in Lucid's case, and then, of course, all day long in Cisco's case, which I do need to be out of these, but we can just put trails in. Like, that's the other option, right? Like, I know where Lucid's at, obviously. You know, it's just a matter of whether you want the tight stop at 30s, which I think I'd probably lean to the 30 or 35, somewhere in here for a trailing stop, instead of just giving it all the way back to 60s or 70s. If we end up with any kind of a decent sell and bounce, okay, it's going to end up working. But if it's anything, the way the market has just come back down, if it's anything to the buy side, you're probably retesting the highs. And this stock is still up 11% on the day. So I'm going to end up going with a regular sort of, you know, tighter stop, which is usually what I'll do right before 350 is, you know, just find the first area of resistance and put the stop in. Yeah, UVXY, it beat Phonetics 312. Hopefully I got that right. I, too, have been watching the channels on UVXY, and I watched it every single day and was using it to trade other things, and it was good. And it's like, well, why not just use that trend and then try to find it and find the trades that work? And ultimately, I understand, like just now when I got out, it doesn't look very good. Where I decided to take it out, I'm like, yeah, but it just sort of took this level. It's getting it just held this level. It's getting really close to that time of day where I'm looking for other things, which is that imbalance. And quite frankly, as I said, I've never really watched this thing at 350. Really paid attention to what it looks like on level 2, to how it reacts to the futures. Does anything about it change? So no, it didn't break the trend there. I could have simply maintained my stop for that channel, but I elected not to do so. Like, obviously, that's going to end up being the wrong call. I didn't lose money on the trade, but it just doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, because for all I know, all hell breaks loose. Well, it is breaking loose here, obviously, because the market's probably going to bounce now. Oh, my goodness. The longs are probably coming into play big time. Where's Tesla?
Yeah,
like, look at that move. Like, now I'm getting the FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we just made back part of that percentage I said we lost, as we just took some Cisco out at 95 right there. But again, it was only 30% of that short. But hey, we made it right back. And again, you know, short, what were we short, 56 or something like that? Got out at 70. That's a 14-cent hit. And then we just wound up taking 25 cents. Remember, like, we only had 30%, so it's not like we made it all back. We would have if we were completely reversed. But again, you know, it's just one of those trades where once it broke this, like, I didn't mean to get into it. I forgot that I got some out. So it's not like this was meant there, but once it broke the key level, we could have got out, but we were fine with holding it, and that looks like that's going to work out for us. And we talked about that Cisco swoop up bottom there, because we saw it yesterday from Target. Target was so beat down and then swooped up near the end of the day, and that looks like what Cisco's doing again. But we're going to always remember about Target, it got hit again today to the downside, and we talked about Target taking that 153 out. Yeah, there it is right there again, down to 153 again. I thought that was the low, but no, we broke it and went to 150, 150 there. We gave you that 162 short. I don't have it, but that was a nice move to the downside. And then now it's starting to get going as well on this long. Realistically, I mean, go ahead. I don't have anything right now. I'm thinking I should have tested that AMD, but again, look at that. 97 there. 97, 97, 97. So definitely went back to the well. I just figured the market was breaking and was going to head lower, but we already did the work there. It didn't break this level. So realistically, again, you know, I'm debating switching over and putting on some, I talked about this all the time, putting on some more futures trades here, because that would have been a good one, bouncing off that bottom there, 11,880.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Like, it's just, like, I'm watching that UVXY. Like, it held that channel. Like, Microsoft shook out there at a key price level, which is what the equity sometimes is going to do. And then you look at another instrument, and it was pretty clean. Like, it bounced off that resistance level. So there wasn't. I don't know if we said this, but the early look from now I'm already forgetting for the imbalances. Oh God, you know who they are. Financial Juice, that's who it is. That was like a small 95 million or something to the buy side.
Right.
Was like the early look, so pretty insignificant. But that's what it was anyway, so just a quick look there. NEO just tested back to the highs. A lot of EV names are pretty strong. I got out of Lucid because I got trailed out. I put the trailing stop in there and said I was going to have it relatively tight. When the market made that last little bounce, we took it out. That's pretty much the best that we got anyways. So if the market heads down, it's just Cisco, which has managed to not break 42 somehow, so that will not stop. That has not stopped me out. It could still do that in the next couple of minutes, especially at that 350 mark, guys. But we'll see what happens. This market is sort of hanging on for dear life, I think is the best word to think about here. We've rejected on the NASDAQ now multiple times off of those highs, but We're in the pocket. It's still a bounce off last week's lows, so at least we're not sitting at those lows. Like that would have been the fear today. When you retrace the exact move that we put in from last week, same top, same bottom, the fear today would of course have been that we broke that low. Although I just remembered it's only Thursday, so if I've jinxed it, then you can always at me, I suppose. But that's the key level, and we're still about 200 points away from it on the NASDAQ.
Man, yeah, someone just said there that, and you're right, Kyle M. Right now, the early mock, where is it right here? On the chat, the early mock is, I disagree with completely irrelevant because, if it was a bigger number today, it's completely irrelevant because we're bouncing around numbers like 95 million, 100 million. But, if it's a little bit bigger there, Kyle, then, we tend to focus on it a little bit more when it's a little bigger. So right now, this is what the imbalance locator looks like on our platform. There's nothing here. These are just all stocks that might have halted throughout the day or not, but there's nothing here. This time will load up at 3:50, so in approximately 1 minute. And if you're watching us elsewhere, which pretty much everybody is, the time right now is 3:49:04, 05, 06. So therefore, just check your time and you'll be able to see how delayed we are there on you. And then you could sometimes, we've had some success, people refreshing their feed, but hey, it's a YouTube stream, man. Trust me, if you saw our, we've got the right networking and everything here to be able to stream properly to you guys. Believe me when I tell you that. Okay, here we go. So only a couple seconds left. What we're going to do is watch these names kind of fill out here. What's going to really move this is when you get the big names, like if you ever get a Tesla imbalance on here or an Apple imbalance or a softie, like a big seller buy in the millions. That's really what we're looking for right now. And then we'll see what happens with the NASDAQ. So let's keep this in mind. Right now, with only 10 seconds until the imbalance, the NASDAQ is down 0.28. So let's see where it goes right now. And here we come in only 5 seconds. The imbalances are going to come out and we'll see what happens. Again, I'm long Cisco, but I'm already out of 2/3 of that trade. So here we go. Whoa, something came with 4 million. That's Bausch & Lomb, BHC. That's not the new one. That's the old one. So there might be something there on BHC going through. This looks like a good imbalance. Sell side, buy side Cisco. So up goes Cisco. Watch this on the 1 minute. So there it comes right back up to 41.90, taking out new highs there. Not new highs, but trying to take out VWAP there. Cisco, CSX there as well. That's a nice name, a valuable name there. NVIDIA, ooh, spicy meatball on the NASDAQ. NVIDIA to the downside there. That's a big number there for NVIDIA. And you can see NVIDIA was cruising. Now NVIDIA is taking down these lows right now. Intel with a sell. Probably, I don't see AMD, but probably on here. So as you go, it looks like it's a bigger sell imbalance right now. So AMD falling. Look at NVIDIA fall right there. Maybe if I can even zoom in a little bit more. Look where it was before the imbalances. 173. Now you're testing these lows of 171 again. So there you go, man. The imbalances do matter, obviously. And then there's Cisco. Cisco was right around here. Not that bad. 72. Ripped to 95 there on that imbalance for a buy. So let's see if Cisco can hold it. We're still long that name, but those are your imbalances brought to you by Daytrade the World.
Absolutely. And look, again, it's not that they matter every single day, but you've seen the price movement there for sure. I just checked in on that BHC, the Bausch there. Not really a lot happening despite that big buy imbalance. Like it did the other way here. It's actually coming into the downside. So, not much to see on that one. NLY was there. Cisco was a big one. And in light of that imbalance, like that was enough for me to say, well, who cares about the stop order at that point? Like I just punched out of it. Like I didn't have to stop it in case it took out that double top. But why wait for it? Like just get out of the trade and then move on to the next, which was kind of hoping that BHC or maybe NLY or it would have been something. NVIDIA, that's not bad. 800,000 is okay. You look at where it is, you're taking a breakdown trade really here through 171. And then on top of that, you got to think about these pairing off. Like that pairs off on you and you've punched the low. Not going to look as good. Of course, now Microsoft is going to retest that 252, but it's too late to want to jump in front of that bid. So a bit of a significant sell imbalance late, even though we're expecting that it wasn't going to be that big.
All right, so I guess NU had a buy imbalance, and what's up to Trade Trigger? They want the money. There it is right there, NU with a big movement to the upside right there. So you want the graphic, you get the graphic. A nice bump up for NU right there on that play. So just looking, I don't have any NU on right here, but there's 430. Again, it's just back to the day's high. Don't know what to say if that's going to keep going. We can find it here. Where's NU? I don't see it on here, but maybe it was there at one point, but it might not be an imbalance thing. So there goes NU right now to the upside, a nice little trigger there. And again, what broke on NU? Probably just this level. I mean, it took down some of these levels, breaks through 425, right up there to 435, now bouncing around. This is the SoFi of South America. And Warren Buffett brought this as an investor to market as well. Knowing Warren, though, he gets the Warren Buffett bounce. Look at that. I don't know, where did he sell this name? I mean, this is $10, $11, down to $4 right now. So NU continues to get hit down a little bit here. But look at the volume over the last couple days. Obviously, they had earnings, but, NU Holdings, nice movement. Might be good to pick it up here. I always like when you're near the bottom and you're doing some intense volume. Let's see where this one goes. NU with a nice little move right now. Only one position left for me. Nothing for Neil, and it's Cisco for me. We're just waiting to see where this goes. It's really dancing, man. Cisco had that buy imbalance there. It's still there, 2.2 million shares. So let's just see. Maybe Cisco works here to the upside into the close. I'm going to put one near 42 bucks. I mean, if we can get that 42, we already got a 41.95 out there. So you saw that right there off this long. So we're going to see if we can get that again. Let's just wait at the same price. 95, only 6 minutes left in the market. Let's see if we get it.
Yeah, and I have been watching. I did check back in on UVXY because it's a new one for me that I'm trading, and it doesn't age well, of course, when I decide to get out. But that kind of is what it is. It's now broken 16. Even on the market pulled back there, and you would expect, okay, well maybe there was a bit of a bounce to the upside. No, that absolutely did not happen. It's actually continued the downward trend. So that's an interesting thing. The correlation might. That's the first thing I've learned here is possibly the correlation might abate just a little bit at 350 when the imbalances come out. So you can try to hold on to these a little bit if you've got a good price level, which we thought we did. And we've had a lot of big earnings. If you've missed everything this week, there's been a few retailers that have moved the markets, just a teeny tiny bit. We're not out of the woods yet. Just a few names on the list here tonight for earnings. Brendan?
Yeah, as we said with Danielle Shay today, guys, obviously some of the bigger retail names going to come next week. But in the meantime, hey, Foot Locker is on the board today.
Yeah, all right, Foot Locker. I mean, for me as a trade, I'd rather prefer a Nike. But Foot Locker, again, we saw the staples get killed. We've seen retail really destructed this week, so it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they do miss. And by the way, look at the last hour here on Foot Locker. Look at the last hour on Foot Locker. You think that people are shorting stuff into earnings? What do you think? Look at this. This has just been a complete destruction down here in the last hour for Foot Locker, all the way back to day's low. Sure, the market's going down, but this one's really not getting too much love at all. And then you look over here at the daily chart for Foot Locker. It's kind of like in this range, not doing much. So this name is getting ready for a move one way or the other, obviously. But, this is probably a good name to play with options. You're not going to have to pay that much because it hasn't been that volatile. But, taking down that 26 is going to be quite the problem for Foot Locker. I'm guessing this was last earnings in February, 41 down to 30. So, I mean, that's a $10 move. Could we get $10 here tomorrow? Yes, we can. So watch out for Foot Locker coming through. It's been a disastrous half year for them.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it is you start thinking about where it can go, and it's more. Whatever you think, it's probably just more than that. And you have to be able to set that. But however, it's not all doom and gloom. I'll give you one name which has at least managed to find a temporary bottom. I know it failed. I was talking about this, Target sort of failing at those levels, but it's managed to hold up. Now, there was no secondary capitulation. Well, there was a little bit, but there was no secondary afternoon capitulation in Target. So another day, every day that it holds 150, I think is a good day for Target and gives you a chance to at least consider. We call it the old dead cat bounce, but it's not there yet. It's only been a couple of sessions. For Walmart, it's been an extra one. But there were at least a few tiny signs of life, and they've been good trading vehicles. So I promise you this much. Well, I shouldn't make the promise, but Foot Locker is going to be worth trading tomorrow. You should put that one on your list. I just can't see any way around it because every single retailer has been the jam this week. Macy's was good, and they haven't reported yet either. I think we get them after the bell tomorrow. They're this week, man. But
yeah, they're this.
I think they're Friday. They got to be Friday.
Tomorrow? What day is tomorrow?
But I don't know if it's got to be before the market then. What,
I don't know. Maybe we could check out on Macy's because that is a little bit confusing there.
Is it next week?
Yeah, it's next week. So there you go.
Okay,
So
that's my bad, yeah.
it would be
That's
on our
with
board.
Costco. That's what it is. They're the same day.
Yeah, okay, good. So next week.
Next week.
Costco's another name that we should be looking at picking up for your long term as well. We talked about that right here. Kirkland Vitamins. Pick up some Costco. But the show not sponsored by Costco, of course.
No.
There we
go.
Maybe we'll reach out.
Flexible.
Right there. So right there, just to let you guys know, we're out now. We took the long there. It went up to 95. We got a piece out 85, a piece out 95. And then honestly, with only a minute left, it's in the middle. We were waiting for the top or the bottom to break. So I was just like, I'm not going to wait for either anymore. We got out. The reason why it's purple is indicated as a short trade on our platform. But I had an offer up here, so it thinks I'm shorting, and that's going to get corrected afterwards. So that's what that is. We are now flat. I don't have any script orders out. Make sure that's the same thing for you guys. You don't want to have any orders left pending overnight or anything like that. Make sure you wipe that out. And again, we're sponsored here by Daytrade the World, so we're flat at 4 o'clock, right? This prop trading, so we are flat at 4 o'clock. So Neil and I, well prepared for this. Although, you can take closing trades, but for me today, we're going to stay away from all that and then just watch this money come out of the market again today as the NASDAQ goes down 0.42%. The S&P 500 down 0.6%. So not a great day, but hey, after yesterday, honestly, I'll take it today, only down that little bit. So it's been a great day. I've made more money today than I did yesterday. We're on a 7-day win streak here, so pretty happy with trading for my own account, and we're happy. I see Ms. V there, so I'm not happy anymore because this is her second last bell-ringing opportunity for the close.
Yes, for the closing show, of course, tomorrow morning is another opportunity. And here we go. Is only 10 seconds left in the market, so let's get this countdown on. Ms. V is in the green. It tried. The market tried, but it's not going to make it.
The green is good.
Here we go for the third last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it, Ms. V.
There we go. And the market is now closed. We can breathe easy. And we will wait until tomorrow as the market opens up. And in the background, sounds like some traders made some nice little money there at the close. So that's great. We're glad to have that happen. Some of our traders, they'll hold all day, take closing prints, things like that. So that's what's up with that. But Brendan, how did the markets wind up today?
Let's have a look, guys. We'll make it official here. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. At one point today, it looked like it was going to be another pretty bad day. There you go. 0.6 for the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ, all about the same. Crude oil, it's worth noting. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but a nice bounce there. 1.85, 2.5, and 1.3 for Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys.
All right. There we go. There's yeah. Looks a little empty there. Some traders are moding in, some traders out of here. You can see that's the thing about traders, right? The minute the bell hits, they gone.
Well, Prad's still sitting in his seat.
Oh,
Usually Prad is like, he's the first one to get out of his seat. There he is.
He's out. He gone.
You could have waved or something, man. I
know.
But yeah, it's like you actually saw there, and we didn't even talk about crypto. Holding up pretty well. Not back above that 30,000, but overall, not a terrible day. And I think, we'll take it. Any trade we base out, I think, is a good one in this kind of a market. And Dominic, thank you for the advice. I will take a quick look and see if anything happens UVXY. Like it's a good one. I'm going to track this every single day and try to trade it a bit more.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that we're doing here on the show, right? We're always trying to change it up a little bit. You got to look at new instruments. If you stay and, your trading's maybe not going that well or it's going great, you can always add different tools into your toolbox. So UVXY is looking at VIX. I've obviously switched over looking at NASDAQ for the last half year or so because most of the names I'm looking at are NASDAQ related. Look, the show's, again, another great one. Neil did the trade of the day. It was Coinbase, so you can check that out after the show. It'll be flipped right over. So like that video as well. Watch to see how Neil traded Coinbase. We already get a big thank you to Prad. I mean, this guy does the show for 3 hours. An absolutely fantastic job for Trader Prad. And yeah, obviously, a big thank you to Miss V today as we get ready to say goodbye to Valeria. So thank you once again to Miss V. Thanks to Fahad. Thanks to Lucas. Smooth day today. Production was great. Although we did have that power outage after we went offline. So that was good. Thanks for unplugging everything, Fahad. And then Brendan, of course, with the news today. Absolutely fantastic. Anything come out yet here, Brendo, or we're okay?
No, I think we're good, guys.
We're good so far. Okay.
It's a quiet
so for everybody. Oh, and I see Maggie as well. Thank you to Maggie, all the hard work. Remember, marketing at tradertv.live. Send in your resumes for everybody here at Trader TV. I'm Sean, this is Neil, and we'll be back tomorrow at 8:30, and we'll check you then. Ciao, guys.